Welcome to the LANCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined as always by Owen, hanging out here, talking gaming.
Hello!
We talk about gaming, all kinds of nerd things. We talk about movies, TV shows, whatever.
Not
we can
this
ramble
week.
about it. Yeah, but this week is a special week. It is E3 week. We've just, conference-wise, we've ended the E3 conferences. The Expo is still going on, but in regards to events, announcements, and everything, we've wrapped all that up, and we have a heck of a show for you, recapping all the good stuff. And so overall, not to spoil anything, but overall, who do you think would win E3? Which I hate; it's an annoying thing, but I feel like one came on top, in my opinion. Who do you think it was?
I mean, even though we're going to talk about my super obvious, awesome, totally, made me so happy thing, I'm still going to give it to Square.
Yeah, I would say overall, I would agree. I will say Nintendo said at the beginning of their press conference, this is what we're going to do, and they did it.
Yeah.
So I was happy about that. Square had some great stuff, but from a biased perspective, I think both of us really enjoyed Nintendo's. So we're going to go backwards, by the way.
Yeah.
We're not going to go chronological. We're going to go as which one was most recent, which was Nintendo. And
It's reverse chronological.
What? It's reverse chronological, yeah. And in regards to that, sorry, I have to kind of scroll just a little bit to find where I am. This is the most videos I've had to put on a show. It's 157 source videos, because I don't know what we're going to talk about, so I kind of get everything ready.
Sure.
But in regards to that, let's find it. So Nintendo set out and they said, we are going to show you how great the Nintendo Switch is, and we're going to give you a little bit of everything. Or show you that we're for everyone, for every type of gamer. Which, by the way, I loved Bowser coming up on here. And then the joke about the real Bowser.
Yeah, I was afraid that I wasn't afraid, but I thought that they would do some kind of... I thought it would be more of a word joke, but the fact that they actually put the Bowser graphic in there straight... it was the fact he was straightening his tie and acting like he was about to start talking. That was what made it solid. But he was absolutely right in what he said in terms of, we have a little bit of everything, and there really, really was a little bit of everything. There was some complete shockers. I'm not going to jump all the way to the end yet, even though as much as I really want to. But something that this was just a complete surprise to me. The Dark Crystal thing. When Dark Crystal showed up, I'm like, what are they doing?
I totally didn't expect it. By the way, I couldn't tell if that was puppetry or if that was animation. It's so smooth, whatever it is. It doesn't matter in regards to the setup. But the game looks interesting. And it's definitely something I would give a shot at. Sorry, that definitely is puppetry now that I'm looking at it again. But yeah, it came out of nowhere. I know that Netflix has had some kind of tie-ins when it came to Stranger Things and everything, but I didn't expect Dark Crystal. And this is a big thing for and I'd say our generation, people a little older than us. But now I think this is going to be something for the next generation as well, with the new show coming out.
I definitely think it's a Gen X thing, more so than the millennials. But
Agreed.
In my notes, I'm literally Dark Crystal from Netflix, a Dark Crystal game, a Dark Crystal tactical RPG. It just went on this complete progression to what the heck? Just also the fact that the tactical RPG lives. They have another one in here that I don't really want to spend too much time on because there's already been a direct on it, but Fire Emblem Three Houses is also in there as a tactical RPG. I know it's not the most popular genre in the world, but this Dark Crystal thing instantly had me in. I wasn't expecting it. It's coming this year. The graphics look cool. You said that there was a tie-in. Is they're actually expanding on Dark Crystal?
Yeah, there's a Dark Crystal Netflix show coming out. That's why Netflix was on there. So Netflix is having, I believe it's a TV show. But yeah, that's being revised, or the sequel. I assume it's a TV show, but it may be a movie. I have not looked into that portion. But I knew it's coming back, and I love Jim Henson projects, so yeah, I'll be watching it.
What else? But again, before we jump, we're gonna spend probably too much time talking about the end. If anybody can't figure that out, but what else? What else like just grabbed you from Nintendo?
So we knew about Link's Awakening, and I'll talk about it briefly because I love.
Looks so cute.
It's adorable, and I love it. It's this great. We're going to be cartoony, and we're just going all in. I'm a big fan whenever something of a specific archetype or a specific genre embraces it and just goes all in, and they totally did that with this. It's adorable. It's cute. I was already going to buy it. I'm really going to buy it now.
A totally unexpected thing from there that they came out with was the Dungeon Maker.
Yeah.
So this just makes me wonder. So we've had Super Mario Maker 1 and 2. Are we getting will they do a full-fledged Zelda Dungeon Maker game? Like, imagine that. Imagine having several generations of Link, several generations of dungeon building, things where, like, I don't know, you could morph into, when you walk through the door, now you're like 8-bit Link. Like, as soon as they showed this, like, my mind went everywhere. Like, I suck at designing, so I'm never going to be the one that designs that, but I will buy the crap out of it and play anybody else's, like, dungeon boss run type things. Do you think this is a warm-up for that?
As much as I'd like to say yes, I don't think that it is. If they do it, they would have to go all in and allow or add some type of 3D element. So, in my opinion, if they want to do it and be successful, they would need to go all in 2D and 3D in regards to the building, because in regards to building these dungeons, I think we need something kind of Breath of the Wild Shrine-like.
Sure.
Something to that effect. I think that'd be easy enough. There's enough tools there for people to play with. When it comes to Ocarina, it's kind of hard to give a tool set for that, but I could still see it in regards to it has specific things, the torches, shooting arrow on the eye, like specific things that happen. I don't think they're going to do it, but if they do, that's what I think they would do. That's personally.
Okay. No, I'm living on the end of dreams.
Sure.
For this, and so it just totally, like, I was like, this is a weird game to try it out in, but also at the same time a perfect game. I watched a little bit more of it on the Treehouse streams, which, if you guys don't know about Nintendo, during E3 especially, they do it other times, but during E3, they'll do their Direct, and then they have several other streams throughout the week where they just talk to the people who are making these games that they showed off. So I saw how it worked. There's certain things that have to be met. You have to put treasure chest. You have to have enough treasure chests to like get the right keys and all that stuff. But it looks really cool. The music sounded amazing, absolutely amazing. The only thing I'm mad about when it comes to Link's Awakening is the fact that Europe is the only place that is getting the awesome looking Game Boy Steelbook. I'm a little bit upset about that.
I didn't realize that, and that's kind of a cool special edition to have. I mean, this is total throwback to Game Boy. It's a remake of a Game Boy game. So
America gets an art book, which fine, but like it's it just all it is just a simple switch case steel book, but it's in the shape it looks like a Game Boy, and it has the original Link's Awakening graphic on it. Only thing I'm upset about, and that's all to do with marketing. That has nothing to do with the game.
Yeah, I will say another thing that surprised me though, because we talked about things that we liked, but Trials of Mana being announced, I thought was
super cool,
very cool. It's a series I didn't expect to come back to. So the fact that we're getting a Mana game in here is really great, because Secret of Mana, I say Mana, because that's how Deckard Cain and everybody else in Diablo said it. So I say Mana. No, I thought it was great. It's not a series that I've dived into, just like we were talking about Fire Emblem Heroes. It's not a series that I'm into, and there's going to be a lot of that in this conference and to quite a few other conferences, where it might not be my thing, but they delivered for those who really enjoy it. But again, I just wanted to kind of be brief on these things. We could keep talking for hours on each one of these conferences. But they showed, we have a little bit of something for everyone.
Yeah.
The Witcher 3.
This was nuts.
Yes.
Because I was like, how do they... So I've read a little bit more. Again, they're talking about the treehouse stuff. So for those of you curious and looking at this video that is on the screen right now, you can tell it doesn't look good. In handheld, it is running at 520p.
Yeah.
And then on docked, it will be running at 720. It comes on one 32 gigabyte cart. So they managed to shrink it down to, if you're buying the physical edition, one cart. So cool for them. Okay, I mean, it's Witcher. It's mobile Witcher. It doesn't look pretty, but you can play Witcher on the go. Like, like what more do you want?
That's exactly what I was thinking with it. There are a lot of games that are going to end up porting to Switch. Strangely enough, LA Noire doesn't look that great on Switch, but it plays smoothly, and as smoothly as that kind of game can play. That's not a gameplay heavy game, but I think we're going to see a lot of that where we'll see a graphics downgrade to make sure that it plays properly, and I'm fine with that because it needs to run smooth. I don't want frame rates dropping, which I actually saw in a specific trailer during this. I'll jump ahead slightly because I'm thinking about frame rates, but the Marvel Ultimate Alliance trailer, everything looked like, okay, I'm going to buy this game.
It looks good.
Let me tell you that. I'm going to buy this game. But Whitney and I were watching this, and we realized that there was a little bit of chugging right there. You can see it.
Oh,
that's not the stream. That is their gameplay. I kept rewinding it, thinking, "Is that us? What's going on?" So there's a little bit of choppiness, and it didn't look as good as it could have if this was running on PlayStation 4. That being said, I'm going to buy it. I was really surprised by that.
I didn't think it looked bad at all. You can tell there's definitely frame drops in there, and that's just when there's tons of stuff going on.
Yeah.
You're gonna see it. Which whatever, I don't care because it looks fun. They just kept rattling off and show, like you see here in this video, like the potential for dozens of characters to play as. Nothing about it made me upset. Every time I go into a Switch game now, I have an expectation that if it's a very resource heavy game, it's probably going to chug.
Sure. And
I just stopped caring. Like, it's not an expectation I have of the Switch. Like, it's an if it's on PS4 or Xbox One X or Xbox One, like, and there's frame drops for some reason, I don't really give a lot of passes to that unless the game is just amazing. But the Switch, I'm like, you're doing so much with this little 2-inch piece of hardware that I'm nothing but impressed.
Yeah, no, I would agree. That's where I'm saying, like, I want to see, like they did with LA Noire and some other games, downgrade the graphics. One of the best running games on the Switch is Breath of the Wild. Zelda Breath of the Wild is so good and smooth, and that's because of the graphics that they chose for it. It's very forgiving, similar to Borderlands. We talked about that a couple weeks ago, and how Borderlands is so forgiving because of the cell shading. It allows for it to run easier because it's not as graphic intensive. So there were quite a few other games that got announced. I was excited about No More Heroes 3. Sorry, I almost said 2.
That's okay. No More Heroes 3. I don't know this franchise very well. Okay. Whenever it popped up, like, the only reason I knew it is because the guy talking said something about heroes, and I'm like, oh, No More Heroes? Okay, yeah, that's what it is. Is this something that you've played before?
Yeah. So I played the Wii game. It was on the first Wii, and I think there was one on Wii U. I can't remember where the second one, where that one left off, but I will say that I didn't think the second one was as good as the first one. That's just me personally.
Okay.
But it's a franchise that I enjoyed playing. It's not something I'm a huge fan of, but I definitely enjoyed it. And it's something that getting a sequel is, in my opinion, warranted. It's something that people can definitely enjoy and continue to enjoy these characters and everything. So I was okay with that.
No, the only other shout outs that I really have, I don't really care about watching them over again, but Panzer Dragoon, that's cool. Mm-hmm. The new Smash character being the hero from Dragon Quest. They used the hero from 11, 8, 4, and 3, I believe.
I thought that was cool.
At first, I thought they were just going to do the Luminary, which is which is Dragon Quest 11's, and then they followed it up by talking about the Definitive Edition, which was cool. But the coolest thing about the Definitive Edition, there's two things. The 16-bit game looks dope, and they also mentioned that they are increasing battle speed for the Switch version so that you can... I'm assuming it'll be something like Final Fantasy VII now, where you like click the stick and you move it goes through it faster, which for people who've already bought it, like there's reason to play it again and not have the game last nearly as long. Those two are cool moments, and then the only other thing that before the last thing is Luigi's Mansion 3 looks cool. That looks
cool. I'm glad we're getting that because I wanted to see more. It's not that I hate handheld, but I prefer a traditional console experience. So I didn't get to play, I chose not to play the Luigi's Mansion that was on 3DS for that reason. There were only a few handheld games that I've dove into. What was the Zelda game that was on 3DS? Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, there's Link Between Worlds.
That one was great, and then I played... I
hate the other two, though.
Yeah.
The DS games. Ugh.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that. I also thought Banjo-Kazooie jumping in there was really cool.
I like the troll.
I liked it a lot. I was happy about that.
The Duck Hunt troll was great.
Yep. I like how they had to point it out, too. They had to point that out. But I will say the biggest thud, in my opinion, was the Sonic and Mario Olympics announcement.
Really?
So I've not enjoyed these. Maybe they've gotten better because I've skipped the last one or two.
Sure.
But I really didn't enjoy them. I felt, I don't know, I felt they were just a flash in the pan. They weren't as good. I don't know. To me, I felt like they didn't master any of the different games. It's basically a bunch of mini games, right?
Yeah.
And I felt like each one of them was kind of weak, in my opinion. Playing it on the Wii and everything, wasn't a fan.
I didn't play
it,
my personal opinion. They're not doing Wii Sports on Switch. The game, they didn't really show a whole lot of gameplay. They showed a little bit. I mean, I don't think it's for us, really. I think it's a great thing for parties. It's a great thing for kids. It didn't look awful to me. The real thud, the biggest thud was that weird Resident Evil commercial. I don't know if you saw that whole interaction. They go inside this house to play Resident Evil 1, and then it's an announcement for Resident Evil 5 and 6. 0 cents. I was like, I understand that you're about to say a new Resident Evil, but why are they playing Resident Evil 1 in a scary house?
I couldn't tell, honestly, if it was Resident Evil 1 or 2. Yeah, it was 1, sorry. Yeah, they're playing that. So I heard that they're bringing 1 and 2 to the Switch, and then 5 and 6 is later on. So it was a mixed message kind of thing. But either way, it's a weird mixed message. It could have been done so much better. I did see a bunch of people who were saying, well, why are they going to this house? Why are they... I mean, I guess they're trying to be immersed, but I personally would not want to huddle around a Switch in a house, in a haunted house. That's just me.
But you know what? I don't really care because the last 60 seconds was the moment. The highlight moment. I thought... I didn't think anything could beat Final Fantasy VII the night before, oh, but Nintendo's like, oh, but wait, sir.
This was the greatest one more thing that I've ever seen. And they didn't have to show too much. You can tell the art style. You can definitely tell that's, more than likely the remains of Ganon.
Human Ganon, yeah.
Yeah, somehow, yeah, Ganondorf. So somehow coming back, and the castle being, I don't know if it's being brought. I mean, definitely lifted somewhere or something to that effect. To me, I thought that this was one of the most brilliant pieces of teaser that I could have had, because it showed me we're still in the Breath of the Wild universe, if you want to call it that, because Zelda has this weird tone shifts and the weird timeline. They straight up called it the Breath of the Wild sequel.
Yeah, they did.
I don't think they're going to call it Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah, it'll have its own name.
It'll have its own name, but we totally called this last week in our wish list, and I said Majora's Mask, Breath of the Wild. Take Breath of the Wild, give me a new game with all those assets, and it looks like that's what they're doing, and it's probably the smartest move Nintendo's made in quite a while.
The thing that made it even smarter was... So, and we even talked about this last week in the show also. We criticized the fact that in last year's E3, they put up a slide for Pokemon Switch. They put up a slide for Metroid Prime 4. No, they didn't do that. They didn't just put up sequel Zelda. Like, they showed you a cinematic. They showed you not just Link also, which... This is where it starts to be a real tease. Like, yes. Zelda was in the shot with him. Yes. Are we finally going to get to play as Zelda outside of, in a mainline Zelda game? Is that going to happen? Right now, I'm just going to say probably not. But you never know. They went darker. You can tell that we don't know if this is a prequel or a sequel yet. They said sequel as far as a game goes, so hopefully that means moving forward. But yeah. I don't care. I don't care at all. You can do whatever you want. Like, it was beautiful. They have so many assets to use from Breath of the Wild. They spent so long making the engine for that game. They spent so long building the biggest Zelda world ever made. The open world, like. Obviously, there's lots of stuff that we can speculate. Like, what do we want? We want more dungeons. That's the biggest thing. Like, give me dungeons. Like, there's a lot that we can say that we want about this, but the announcement was perfect.
Yeah,
an absolute perfect announcement.
It was. It really was perfect. And it's one of those times where because this is branching off from Breath of the Wild, I didn't need to necessarily see gameplay, because I know that we're taking that and we're moving forward with it, and that's fine.
I know how to play Breath of the Wild.
I know how to play Breath of the Wild. I don't need huge advancements. I'd like some different stuff that's thrown in there. I'd like some different items. I want
a hook shot.
I want a hook shot. There's so many things we could list and go on and on about, but I think this is one of those moments that hooked everyone. And to me, there were a couple moments that I think excited. I think this was the biggest exciting everyone fan base, because there were quite a few. I saw quite a few things on Twitter and Facebook about moments during E3. This one was one that resonated with everyone, in my opinion. Everyone that I know who plays games, except for Whitney, posted about it. So,
yeah, I went nuts. I really, whenever they were saying that they were going to do one more thing, I really, at that point, whenever it comes to Nintendo Directs, which I realized earlier today whenever I was preparing for the show, I love Nintendo Directs now. I remember when they first started doing these, I was heavily critical about, like, no longer doing the live aspect. It's now one of my favorite ways to do a presentation. So I'm like, what could they really be doing? I thought they were going to maybe end with more Smash or something like that, even though they just did Banjo-Kazooie, like maybe adding something else, or maybe a Mario Kart. Yeah. But giving us a sequel to Breath of the Wild, just so awesome. And before I ask for your grade on this, I did want to mention, I don't think it's really me or you's thing. Animal Crossing got delayed. It was supposed to come out this year. It's now coming out in March of 2020. I know that disappointed a lot of people. It's never been my franchise, but I know that it has a very passionate fan base.
It's not a huge thing for me, but I really appreciated I appreciated them saying that they were apologizing, saying we want to have it be the best. And then they right afterwards or shortly afterwards they had some interview or some press release saying we did not want our employees to go through crunch. So we're delaying it. They specifically said we are not going to sacrifice our employees' well-being and have them work 100-hour weeks to get this thing out on time. We want it to be good, but we don't want to sacrifice our own sanity. And I totally
said the right things.
That. Yes, they totally did.
So, all my grades have already been posted, which, by the way, if you want any of the links from any of the conferences, I wrote a note for each conference on facebook.com/LANCave. I have trailers to every single link, so you don't have to watch the whole presentation if you don't want to. All my grades are already up there, so we already know mine. But Patrick, what did you grade the Nintendo press conference?
So I'm gonna give it a B+.
Okay.
Because the Zelda bumped it up.
Okay.
Because of my bias, I'll admit that. But overall, I was satisfied with what they gave us. I was satisfied. Like I said, they came out from the start and like a thesis statement of an essay. They're like, this is what we are hoping to do with this presentation, and they nailed that. They had enough surprises in there, and they didn't spend too much time on Smash Brothers and other games. Because I know sometimes they say we're going to do a Smash Direct. That's cool. But sometimes they say we're going to have a Nintendo Direct, and half of it is a specific game.
Yeah. That
can bore people. So I think the pacing was really good. So I give it a B+. What was your grade on this, by the way?
I gave it an A.
Yeah.
I think they did what they set out to do. They said that they have games for everybody. There's literally games across every spectrum. There was action games, RPGs, fighting games, obviously with Smash. We didn't have a Mario Kart thing. That's the only thing that was really missing, I think. But there was a racing game. There was to me, it reminded me of RC Pro-Am. So there was that. But I think everything, I loved it. I don't think there really could have been. I don't know about A+, what would have made it an A+, really, but solid A. Just knocked it out of the park. Concise. I think it was 30 or 40 minutes long, and I wasn't bored ever.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't bored as well. I completely agree. It was satisfying. It was entertaining. Kept pacing. Like I said, it kept the pace up, and we didn't have a lull where I will say the chat was being pretty negative, but the chat was negative throughout all of E3.
That's internet chat, dude. That's where the chat that came out that was like, Breath of the Wild's overrated. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, I would say that Breath of the Wild, and yeah, I'm biased, but from an objective standpoint, it is one of the greatest games to have come out in the recent history. In my opinion, is one of the greatest games of all time. But overall, yeah, I don't think it's overrated one bit.
Yeah, and before moving on, there's a couple other things we didn't mention in there. There was a Al Capone game in the 20s.
Yeah.
Cadence of Hyrule actually comes out tomorrow. Already got that pre-downloaded onto my Switch. And Damon Ex Machina. Oh, and Contra made a weird comeback. That was the other thud for me, where that game looked really weird. But
yeah, that was just weird. Yeah, tone-wise, and
But the Contra collection being available on Switch, that was dope.
Very cool. Very cool. I think there's only one thing that you mentioned what would have made this an A+.
Yeah.
Metroid.
Okay.
Metroid.
Yeah, showing a piece of the new Metroid Prime.
Yeah. I think that would have been. And for those who don't know, they scrapped the work that they had done on Metroid Prime, and they're reworking it in one of their apologies. So, we'll see what happens with Nintendo moving forward. But I think it's a good stage to be set for the next almost the next year.
So I think we're going to call Nintendo Direct a wrap, unless you have anything else to say about that.
I think it's good.
For those of you who are tuning in live, we're going through our E3 conferences backwards. So we did Nintendo, which means we move on to my other favorite show of the By the way, I was feeling a little low on the E3 conferences. Square comes along, right hook. Nintendo comes along, uppercut. Just super strong finish this last two conferences. So we're going to move on to Square Enix.
Yep. And I totally agree. There was a big lull that was going on before Square came out. And I think that... I think Square knocked it out of the park. I will say that most of what they announced, what they talked about, kind of falls within a specific genre, as opposed to what
really does.
As opposed to what Nintendo did. Nintendo was purposely being very very varied and open with what they were talking about.
Yoshi P.
And Square, again, I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Nintendo, I like when people just embrace what they're doing and just say, you know what, I'm just going to do a lot of this. Square's doing that. They know their thing is RPGs. They know their thing is Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, all of that. So starting out with the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Great start. Quite a bit of footage as well.
They went big, baby.
And I was so happy with that. By the way, we finally get to see Tifa. How do you feel about the voice acting in this, though? Real quick. I know you and I could talk about this stuff forever, but what do you think about the voice?
It's my least favorite thing.
Me too.
I think Cloud sounds okay, and it's probably something I'll get used to it. Even though Barrett is saying the lines that I would expect Barrett to say. It's something about whoever is the American voice for Barrett or English voice for Barrett. I don't know. I every time I'm reading the text, and I was even playing it again today and last night, kind of reliving it. Is that I expect it to be deeper. I don't know. I think of a Barrett as this deep John Turkey.
Mr.
I don't know
T
what it
is who I read him as, Mr. T every single time. Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. He's a big guy. He has you expect that kind of voice. That's the only negative that I've had, honestly, for everything that I've seen for Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy VII.
But honestly, the dialogue itself, the lines, is great, and I've heard even more about it since then. Because for those of you who don't know, the Midgar is its own game. It's part one of X, which they also said this week that they don't know how many parts it's going to be, which is also slightly disappointing. But so there's a ton of new dialogue and a ton of new character fleshing out with Jesse and Biggs Wedge, and all the lines are good. It's just some of the people they got to deliver those lines. It's okay, it might, depending on how annoying Barrett gets to me, I might turn on the Japanese voice and just go with the English subtitles. I'm almost, even though they haven't said it, I'm 99% sure that they will that they will allow you to switch that, because a lot of people play that way. Yeah. But I don't even care, because it's so awesome looking.
I care because if I do that, or if I choose not to put him in my party, because they talk as they're battling, just like Final Fantasy 15. While they're battling, they're talking about the stats, talking about whatever. I'm assuming they're going to do that within all battles. Barrett was one of my team, so it was me, Barrett, and Eris until that happened. Red 13's the other one that got slotted in at that point, but we all have our favorites. So he was always one of my favorites to have in there. So if he gets too annoying, I'm gonna be kind of sad. But I don't know. We'll see. I hope that it's toned, or I should say, if it doesn't tone down, I may slot him out. I don't know if I'll go Japanese subtitles on it, but either way, I'm excited about it. Yeah.
That's what. So a bunch of stuff that they broke down in here. You've already seen some of the videos, so just a couple of like details. It's going to be 2 Blu-ray discs worth of content, which is there's going to be so much of that is FMV. But whenever I started thinking about this, they fit Red Dead onto one disc, and that was a 100 gigabyte game. So how big of a game is Final Fantasy VII in Midgar gonna be?
Was Red Dead playable without a download?
No.
Well, I mean, like, it was 100 gig install, but I think a dual layer Blu-ray is 50 gig. So we're talking about 100 gig. If it's dual layer Blu-ray, 100 gig plus whatever's downloaded. So get a spare hard drive and plug it into your PS4.
I'll be alright. I'll make space. I don't care. I'll delete everything off my system to play this game. Don't care at all. So as we already knew, that it went ARPG, which is my biggest concern. My biggest concern, even though I like action RPGs a lot more than I used to, just because sometimes the turn-based grind is real. So I was super scared of them messing this up. It looks dope. The ATB still exists, and it becomes like this tactical mode. So you're getting hit or you're landing attacks, and it charges up an ATB bar, which is what is used for magic, and it's also what is used for like some of your special moves. They still have limit breaks. That's confirmed. They didn't confirm, obviously, which ones are limit breaks, but like, for example, Braver I don't think is a limit break, but Cross/Slash might be. I don't know how all that works, but they showed off switching between characters. I confirmed watching a stream on that. That's just through the D-pad, so you can switch at any time.
Very cool.
In your party, you just press the corresponding D-pad button, or you go up and down. So you saw the fight where Cloud and Barret are fighting the Scorpion Sentinel.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So good. Like, that's the first boss fight in the game. You cheese the crap out of that when you play it. You just hit him like 10 times and he dies in the original Final Fantasy VII. That's not what you do here. Nope.
I think they were trying to show the scope of something like that attacking you, because something like that attacking you is going to be insane. Especially, this is something that Shinra created to defend their reactors and everything. So yeah, it should be beefy. It shouldn't be something that's easily taken down. So I appreciated that. I appreciated the scope and danger of it. I was happy about that.
And they also added like where now range and closeness matters a lot more. So you saw like Scorpion Sentinel jumps on the wall. You switch over to Barret, who starts shooting. Then when Scorpion jumps on the ground, you switch back to Cloud, so you do like the up close damage. So it seems like there's going to be more emphasis on that. The only problem is that in Midgar there's only one ranged character. So I wonder if how many fights are going to have range as a thing, because that means Barret's going to be like required. Otherwise you're just sitting there waiting for Scorpion to come, or whoever else to jump back on the ground. It's not anything I'm worried about, because that's the thing that I overall want to say about this, is that everybody, like, to me at the beginning, this was the remake that people kind of wanted. Like, the only thing that they really wanted was just a graphical upgrade. They wanted to get rid of the polygons.
Sure.
And they went super ambitious with this. Nomura didn't even know that he was the director on it, so it was super scary. I'm no longer scared. Like, the fact that it's going to be multiple parts and we have no idea how many parts and all that stuff, whatever. I don't care. I have nothing negative to say about anything that I saw involving this game other than the voice choices.
Yeah. No, I agree. Everything else looks good. I think I've mentioned on here before, Whitney does not like timed RPGs.
Sure.
So
Nobody's
I think that this could get her into playing this and experiencing one of the greatest stories in video games. So I'm really hoping that she'll, she will get into it, because this is one that I'd be fine if she wants to play through it, and I will sit and watch. That's fine. I am fine handing over the controller. Similarly, where you kind of do that in reverse with Life is Strange.
Yeah.
And this, I'm happy we're getting more Life is Strange, but man, this has taken a while.
I hated them even showing this, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
First of all, there's there's a
Spoilers.
decent amount of spoilers in this
Yeah.
trailer. People that you haven't met if you've only played episode 1 or whatever. They're through episode 3 now. Episode 1 came out last year.
Yeah.
I think the first episode was either October or November. We're through episode 3. We don't get through the whole game until I believe the last one they said was September of this year. I don't like it. Bad idea. Like, this is where, if this is the kind of way that you're telling a story, like the last Life is Strange, I think came out in 2-month intervals, which was fine. This is not fine. Over a year in development is not fine at all. And then them showing this video with spoilers for people who haven't played it at all, because there are people who want to. They just wait. They wait until all 5 episodes are out.
Yeah.
They didn't mention anything about new dates or anything like that. I don't get why they showed this game.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's weird in regards to the pacing. You mentioned that it should be less than a year for these type. We're talking about 5 different episodes.
Yeah.
Having those every other month, that allows you. That's 10 months for those who are bad at math. That's how many it amounts to. I think that would be fine. I agree. They're taking way too long with this, and kind of annoying. Was excited about. Sorry, I'm grabbing my place again because there's just so many videos here to go through. But when we're talking about, where is it? That's Ubisoft.
I don't know.
We're talking about Final Fantasy. Sorry, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. I thought was kind of cool to see that. I'll kind of go through these a little quick because I don't think we have as much to talk about. But Octopath Traveler, getting some more of that. Happy about it for the.
That was released on PC. That was what that announcement was for.
I thought they had DLC coming out as well.
No. So it was previously on console and is now download now on PC. So that's why they brought it up.
Got it. Got Dragon Quest Builders 2, which was already in Japan.
Looks adorable.
I really liked the first Dragon Quest Builders. I played it on Vita, and I thought it was adorable, but it was what I wanted Minecraft to be, which is, I can build all these things and I can grow these. There's so many things you can do in Minecraft, but what is it really all about? It's just about building stuff and mining stuff, and this gave me actual reason to do the things that I was doing. With the quests, with enemies, everything was good and challenging, so I was happy about that. More Dragon Quest. We got Dragon Quest 11.
Yeah, on the Switch.
Of course.
One thing that I forget what I wanted to mention. Oh, we had one Shadow Drop. Which was good. Mm-hmm. A game that I had not played, though, so I don't know if you knew anything about the series at all, but The Last Remnant was shadow dropped yesterday.
Yeah, I have not played it. I thought it was really cool. One of the guys I watch on YouTube is just a huge fan. Okay. So he was crazy happy about that dropping. That remastered version was... that's cool.
On the Switch.
Yeah. Got some Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC announced. I don't care. I liked what I played of Kingdom Hearts 3. Whitney likes all the Disney stuff, but the story, it's not even getting more, like, it's way too heavy in the dumb parts of the story, in my opinion.
You can't jump into, like, anybody who said you could just play KH3 on its own, like, you have to literally, you would have to skip like every cutscene, because they're so long, but you're not going to know what's going on. So if you try and just jump into Kingdom Hearts 3 without having played anything else in the Kingdom Hearts franchise, like, good luck having fun.
We played 1 and 2.
Okay.
We watched the prep of, like, all the stuff, and I understood the story for the most part. I'm not a scholar of Kingdom Hearts.
Sure.
But it just drug on, and the dialogue was just, and I don't know if they were trying to walk the balance of let's explain things to people who didn't watch, didn't play the other games. But even then, it was like they were just repeating themselves over and over and over again. It was this weird balance of like, it should be a good story, but I'm being talked down to by Goofy like I'm a 4-year-old, and it just kind of felt really weird. And I had to be like, he had to remind people, remind Sora of like who people are, and I'm like, we already met this person in this game. You don't have to remind me. Like, if they just show up for the first time, okay. But it was just annoying to me.
It was a game that I really wish that I liked. I played it for 10 hours, and then it never evolved. So if you played Kingdom Hearts 2 in terms of like gameplay, like they added like stuff, like they added things to Kingdom Hearts 3, but it's not fun to play. Like, if you enjoyed it, I'm not hating on you for enjoying it. There are several dedicated Kingdom Hearts fans. Go for it. But in terms of, I wanted a game that felt like it had been made recently, and it felt like what we expected Kingdom Hearts 3. If it had come out on like PS3 6 or 7 years ago, I probably would be like, oh, cool. But it just didn't feel like the gameplay evolved with it enough. I would agree. But that was Remind. I don't know if they actually if they put a date on it. I didn't write it down. I now don't think they did, because I think I would have purposely tried to do that. Random cool thing that they announced that was actually just discovered randomly by people. I had seen it on the internet a couple days before, but they put all of the Final Fantasy soundtracks are available through streaming services now.
Yeah, that's crazy cool.
And that was just something random people found. Like, somebody actually even announced it at work. They were like, I don't know if anybody noticed, but Final Fantasy music's on Apple Music. And it's like, no, I didn't know that. So it was on like Amazon, Spotify, Apple Music. It was like 9 in total. That was a cool moment. Ononaki was a little bit of a surprise. I didn't even recognize it at first. Here. I forgot that they had announced it. Looks cool. Looks dope. I'm in.
Looks cool. I like the richness of them like showing these tapestries, like the ancient like drawings and everything. Like, it hooked me in regards to the story. It's not something I've dived into before, but yeah, this looks really fun on my Switch. So happy about that. Happy about that. I'd say a lot of the other announcements that we got, I mean, we did get Dying Light 2, but a lot of the others we got were very, JRPG, stuff that if I flashed a montage on here, I don't think that a lot of people, if you weren't big fans of some of these series, you may not know if it was Final Fantasy or if it was something else. So
did you see that Romancing Saga announcement? That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Like, this what I'm showing here is Final Fantasy Brave.
Is this Brevius?
Evius, yeah. So immediately, like, I looked at that and I didn't think it was a Final Fantasy. I thought it was something else. Romancing Saga. I've not played any of this, so.
Me either, but it looks sweet.
It looks good. It looks good. So like we said, like, it's very heavy on the JRPG stuff. So if you don't like that, it may have felt.
Okay, we're coming for you. We got something at the end.
It's okay, because, well, I'll say, I don't know which one of these to talk about first, but I'm going to talk about the smallest surprise first. We'll go reverse order.
Are you talking about my favorite surprise?
I don't think. No. Okay, I don't think it was really a straight up surprise.
Okay.
The Marvel Avengers.
All right.
So we already knew this was coming. So if those of you who didn't know, they actually announced a Square Marvel game, I want to say last E3, and then they rebranded it. Yeah, and they rebranded it saying this is now Marvel's Avengers. And I liked everything that I was seeing here, except for two things. One, I don't think they showed like any gameplay, or if they did, it's blended in so well that I couldn't tell it was gameplay. There's a few moments from the camera angle, like this right here with Hulk, like I could see that being gameplay.
It is.
So I was like, okay, so that's cool. I think the facial animation for a game like this, the facial animation is like too
rough.
Like, yeah, it's really rough and stone. The meme that's going around is they show a picture of all the Avengers, and it shows the guy Colonel Sanders from Spaceballs saying, "You idiots, you capture their stunt doubles," because they just don't look quite right. I saw some people trying to defend this, saying they don't have the rights to these actors. That's fine.
It's not that.
It's not that. That hair looks horrible. That looks like a crappy wig. And that being said, if the majority of my time is spent, in third-person view, not that I'd see it, but I'm going to want to see these cinematics. I'm going to want to see these characters. And you don't have to have a Robert Downey Jr. likeness in there because he'd probably charge you a good amount. You don't have to have everyone look like whoever. You can... I mean, look at Final Fantasy VII. It's great. The characters embody what was supposed to be represented with their polygon versions and some of the artwork that's been seen elsewhere, and then, Advent Children, whatever. But I think they could have done a lot better with that, and I hope that they will do better moving forward. Like, I hope that they'll clean that up and not, have any downgrade. I don't think there was enough gameplay really shown here, though, in my opinion.
So before I get to the gameplay, I'm gonna say I disagree with most of the haters in terms of the art style. The thing that bothered me about it is that so for those people who don't know, when it comes to E3 and everything, like you're literally telling these developers, stop what you're doing and make something that we can show at an event like an E3. So this means that everything they showed, like, yeah, some of it may be a part of the game. It wasn't polished. That was the problem. I don't have a problem. Anybody who expects it to look like anything regarding your Marvel likenesses, your MCU likenesses rather, it's not going to happen. And I point to another franchise that recently came out in Spider-Man on PS4. If you look at Peter Parker and you look at his first suit, not that they put like every other suit in there afterwards, but his first suit is that, I don't know if you remember all the hate that came out when they first showed the White Spider.
Yeah.
Bad. Like, everybody was just trashing it. At the time, we didn't, we had like a brief thing of Tom Holland. Nobody really cared about what Peter Parker looked at, but they were trashing that Spider-Man outfit, and it looks dope. Now, I love it. The problem with these art styles is it just didn't look polished. To me, that's the only problem. The fact that there's no likeness involved, I don't care. If you read comic books at all, you'll know that like those likenesses change with the artist, and that carries along over here too. So the thing is that if your most recent thing with Avengers is we just got done with the Endgame, and now this is the very next Avengers thing that we saw, other than the Far From Home trailer. Yeah. It's probably going to be a little jarring. I think that's going to wear off. I think people are going to get over it by the time this game comes out. Just hopefully it doesn't look as grainy.
Yeah, I agree, but I just want the hair to look right. I want their facial expressions to look right.
Yeah, polish.
John in the comments talking about the animation sequences you typically modeled and animated by a different studio. 100% true. And when it comes to E3, which we'll talk about this in later the future conferences as we talk about them, but when you have a lack of gameplay, you can really you can make it look like your game is really polished and looks great by faking it with the CGI trailers, with the animation. So to me, when I see something that is done specifically in CGI to make it look better, to hype the game, it kind of sucks if that's a downgrade from what I would expect. So I really hope it is polished.
I think so, and to confirm with you, what you were seeing was in game. So where you see Hulk jump across the bridge, I have done more research on that from people who have played the game. So the only demo that the people who are getting behind closed doors, the stuff that they're not allowed to show off yet, the demo that they're getting, they didn't get to play it. They watched a Square rep play through it. It is that bridge scene that you see at the beginning as kind of like a training thing. You switch off between characters, so you start as Thor, and then I think you go to Iron Man, and then you go to Hulk, and then you get to play all the characters that you saw there you get to play as them in that opening sequence.
That's cool.
As it kind of trains you. So to me, I think it was that it's just not done yet. I think they wanted to show something. But me and you discussed this while it was live. Like they're advertising this game as a in-game cinematic online co-op like at any time you can jump from online to offline to offline apparently. So like it's kind of the way that they described it is that like somebody could jump in with you. They didn't go too deep into describing it from the research that I did after the show, but they made sure to mention like all the DLC is free. They mentioned no random loot boxes or pay-to-win scenarios. To me, that means you can still pay for skins. They didn't confirm that, though.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that, too. They just, when you're advertising a game that's going to be online and stuff, and this is like, I don't know why you didn't show that. And I do realize the date is May 15th of next year. So we have almost a full year. So there's going to be some time in probably December or January, somewhere in there, where we'll probably get more. It's just when watching this, I wanted more. I didn't care about the looking thing. I wanted more. I wanted to see the Avengers. I wanted to see fighting. Like when you're talking about a game like this, everything that stuck out to me, I was like, is this going to be like X-Men Legends? Like that's what I literally wrote down. And I hope it's not. I hope it is that cinematic thing. They got the voice cast for it. Star-studded voice cast for the mainline Avengers that they put in there. Shout outs to Hawkeye. No respects there. You don't get any.
Yeah, so I think that was a big one. That was a good one. But the big surprise was Final Fantasy VIII.
I jumped out. My wife laughed at me because I cheered so hard. This was in my dreams of last week's episode. I was like, figure it out. I don't care. I know the code is lost. Figure it out. Throw some money at it. What do? They threw some money at it.
Yep. They know that this is going to make money, and I've had people say, when the Final Fantasy VII remake was announced, I had so many people who said they should have done 8. Some people said they should have done 7, but a lot of people said they should have done 8. 8 was a better story. I'll disagree that it was a better story, but with what they had in regards to losing so much of that source code and so much of their work, it's almost starting from the ground up in regards to trying to redo this. So it looks great. Like you said, it was on your dream list. And we're gonna get it. I'm
gonna buy it twice.
I'm so happy about this. Yeah, I'm so happy about it.
Just for those that were probably a little critical, they were like, it didn't really look that remastered. They didn't really show. They showed a couple of snippets where they showed it. You're really gonna see it in like the battle scenes and stuff. The sprite animation. There's there's some famous looks of Squall, where Squall is known for having that hair. There, and you look at it, it's this super pixely messed. In this remastered version, you can clearly see his face and his hair, like it's going to be in like some of that sprite reworking. Again, I've told this story ad nauseum, I think at this point. They lost the original source code for Final Fantasy VIII. The only thing that was left was the PC version, and porting is not it's not the easiest thing in the world. People think like, hey, just do it. It doesn't work that way. So the fact that they're not just porting the PC port over, which is great. They're actually putting some time into to cleaning it up, making it look a little bit more modern. But they gave it to me, and they said it's coming out this year.
That was insane.
It wasn't anything where it's going to take forever.
Yeah.
They said coming 2019, all consoles. I think PC too.
Yep.
So happy. It's the most dogged on underrated Final Fantasy. It's my second favorite Final Fantasy to 7. I will play the crap out of it. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. It was really funny. There was a post that Squall was coming to the Final Fantasy fighting game, and I made a Facebook comment on them saying like, hey, you know what I want to see Squall in? A little game called Final Fantasy VIII. That was last week. That post did not age well, and I will definitely cop to it. I'll be buying it on PS4. I'll be buying it on Switch. I might even buy it on computer. Probably not, but it depends on if I have the extra dock. I'll be streaming that game, no doubt. just yes, Square. Like, thank you so much. I love you. I hate you at the same time all the time, but no matter what, you always end up making me love you again.
Yeah, totally great. A great way to end, or almost end the conference, because they ended on Marvel. But so what did you give Square in your rating?
So this one was definitely more biased. I think that Nintendo had the cleaner, even though this one ended up being my favorite conference. I gave it an A also. I think Nintendo was cleaner. I think it was more concise. There was a couple of moments in here where I'm just like, well, whatever. But I gave it an A.
Yeah. So I give it a B- or B, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Because there were some great things, but I feel like a lot of it didn't have enough variety in regards to what they were showing me. When they did show me something that had some a different tone to it, it was very brief. And that's why I feel like I think they should have shown, like, given me a little bit more in regards to variety. The bias in regards to Final Fantasy VIII in there, that's great. And Final Fantasy VII, actually, no, I'll say B+ as well, because Final Fantasy VII looked amazing. It looked better.
So good.
It got me more hyped about I was already hyped about it. I bought, and I actually messaged you this morning, because we were talking about the first class edition, which it has the statue and the art book, the steel book, the soundtrack, and apparently they have more of them, so I went ahead and pre-ordered one. It's pricey, but had to do it.
Yeah, other than Dying Light 2, the only other real RPG one that they mentioned was a game that we only got a CG trailer for, and so I don't really have much to say about it because I have no idea. But a game called Outriders, it said it was made by the people who made Gears of War Judgment, and Bulletstorm. Bulletstorm was okay. Gears of War Judgment sucks. So that wasn't really much of a... what's the word? Endorsement. That wasn't really much of an endorsement, but the CG trailer looked cool.
No, it did look cool. I think I was messaging you around that time. I think it was when we were messaging, and I was just saying I wasn't digging what they were showing, and then boom, that showed up. I thought, okay, this is interesting. You got my attention. I love Bulletstorm, so. And
if you like Final Fantasy XIV, the trailer for that, I said to my wife, I wish that I had time to jump back into this game. Yeah, it's an MMORPG, very near and dear to my heart. The trailer for the expansion that comes out on July 2nd looks awesome. My favorite thing that I was writing about that there was that somebody had a gunblade in the trailer, and I wrote in my notes, I'm like, oh, I spy a gunblade. I'm like, I know that doesn't mean we're getting Final Fantasy VIII, but a guy could dream.
And we got it.
Dream he did.
And we got it. Yep.
But you have anything else to say about Squeenix?
No, I thought, like I said, overall, I think it was a good conference. I think it was entertaining. I think we got a lot of good stuff. And I would say these were the two best conferences of E3, was Nintendo and Squeenix. So let's move on to...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
For those of you who don't know, we're going through in reverse order all the E3 conferences for those of you who are live. So that was Nintendo and Square Enix.
Let's talk about Ubisoft. Man, there were... Okay, this is the best moment, by the way. There are two best moments of this. I'll save the other one until later, but the other one was...
You're biased towards this best moment.
I love this puppy. Okay, so this was adorable because it had nothing to do with the game. He just always brings his dog with him, and I thought it was great.
I hated some people in the comments are like, that dog's scared. Like, he shouldn't be... I'm like, that dog's fine.
That dog's loving it.
Did you see how obedient that dog was? Like, he didn't care at all, or she
doesn't care. Yeah, doesn't care. I think it's a he, but like doesn't care. He's not scared, just kind of looking around. It's a very different space, and then lays his head down. That is so relaxed. He's just hanging out with his dad.
That dog was not scared at all, people.
Not at all. I will say this started with one of the dumbest intros, in my opinion, and I thought I'd prepped the intro for this. I thought I'd put the video on there, but they started out talking Assassin's Creed Symphony going to tour. Who wants this?
Who cares? I mean, so whenever I was watching this, I watch a stream that is restreaming it because I like hearing people who are more knowledgeable than me kind of talk over it. And there was one guy on this stream that's like, no, the AC music is really awesome. And I'm like, nobody plays Assassin's Creed for the music at all. I've never heard a single we talked about iconic like RPG soundtracks and everything. Like in turn, I would never be able to pick an AC track out of a lineup at all.
Oh yeah, same here. It's not iconic in the way if you play Final Fantasy, Zelda. There's so many when they did the Zelda tour, completely made sense. I just thought it was really weird for them to do that, especially when we know there's not going to be a new any Assassin's Creed being announced. So it's just here because I think that they saw other people doing it, so they thought this will make us money, and I don't think it will.
Yeah. So now, before I want to do this one a little bit different because there's definitely a shining moment to this conference. The thing that saved it from failing to me.
Yeah.
That was the beginning. That was right. I mean, not the beginning because they started off with a symphony thing. So the thing that killed this whole conference for me, and I'm just gonna let's see. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4. 5 Tom Clancy announcements.
Yeah.
If you're a Tom Clancy fan, cool, good for you. But they just kept going. Like there was one point where my wife's sitting there because she watched all the conferences with me, and it was awesome. It was one of my favorite things. And she was like, "Can we move on from Tom Clancy, please?" And I had the exact same thought. It's not that they're not awesome. It's not that Division 2 is not cool. It's not that Ghost Recon and the John Bernthal thing wasn't cool. It's just Tom Clancy. I get that it's a big franchise for you, but you just like how we were criticizing Square Enix a little bit in terms of its lack of variety. Yeah. This was a total lack of variety.
Yeah, total lack of variety. The only redeeming part was the social manager, whatever her title was. She was adorable. Other than that, don't care.
Yeah. And then we got our typical Just Dance. The only reason I have to mention Just Dance, this is 10 years of Just Dance. It's on the Wii.
I can't believe it.
It's amazing to me. It's
I can't believe that we're getting more Just Dance on the Wii. I mean, I guess it's making money. I had to bring it up for that reason. I guess it's making money.
Yeah.
Because someone's buying these.
It's so funny to me. Wii, everybody knows the Wii, but Wii is like the, I don't know, 3rd or 4th highest selling console of all time. So there is like 100 million Wiis out there, but it's just crazy to me that like you'll see this game on Switch, you'll see it on PlayStation, you'll see it on whatever's current gen, but then just still going on the Wii. So I had to give it a shout out just because respect.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I'm finding my spot here, but like you mentioned, the 2 biggest spots, or arguably, in my opinion, they did start out when they did show the first game that they were going to show.
Yeah.
Totally hyped for this, because we talked about this. So this leaked. This is Watch Dogs Legion. The third Watch Dogs 3, we're going to call it. When they described, because you and I were talking about how the heck does this even work? So you can play all these NPCs, and we thought you were hacking them. No, you're recruiting them. So you recruit people to be on your team, and you can recruit anybody. Granny over here is pistol whipping people. I mean, I did not expect this.
The best thing ever.
It was so cool.
A highlight moment, because you're wondering what's going on, like, and then Helen shows up, and she's apparently this old school hacker who's recruited, and she's the thing where she like hops over the bar. This game looks dope. I have not played a single game in the franchise. I might pick up Watch Dogs 2, which is on sale for $15 right now on PSN.
It's pretty good.
This game looks dope. It looks so good. It looks so ambitious.
Yeah. I want to get a whole team if it lets me. Like, I'm sure for a while you have to like recruit specific people who are part of the part of the storyline. Like in the very beginning of it, he's like, we need someone who's an expert in drones, and they're like, oh, this man is an expert. And like, oh, it's great. Like, that was cool. But like, as soon as you can just like get whoever you want. I'm going to get all geriatrics. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I want the goofiest people in the world. I was like, I'll totally go for all old people. I don't care.
Yeah,
or like, I want all children or something. There's got to be like so many different runs. So this is where it's super ambitious. So they said every single character in London has stats, has voice, has the ability to be a playable character in the game.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, that takes what they did in Red Dead 2 to another level.
Yeah. I'm totally going to push that when it comes to, they said everyone's playable. I am going to go after the, like you said, the weirdest bunch of misfits. That's what my team is going to be. Just because I can, and I want to see how the voice acting is supposed to be different in every single one of them as well. So if I go for only old people, am I going to get the same old lady voice at some point? I hope not. I hope they're all different and they're all, adorable in their own ways.
Yeah. This is the only thing. This is what saved the conference for me. I'm glad they started out with this, because even though I was committed, so I watched every single conference from beginning to end, because I wanted to take notes for the audience and because I love doing it. But if I was a casual person and they had tried to make me go through all this Tom Clancy stuff to get to Watch Dogs, I might have fallen off just because I was so bored. But they started with Watch Dogs. Yeah. It started so hype. I was like, okay, Symphony was a little bumpy. Watch Dogs. Yeah, that was awesome. This is great. It looks great. It looks like it's going to play great. Like, I'm so into it. It comes out in March. It's a great spring game. And then just a total fall off on the conference for me. So I'm glad that they spent so much time on Watch Dogs, because it made it made a person who had zero interest in that franchise completely interested. I now want to play 2. I've not heard great things about 1, so I probably won't ever play that one, but I have a desire now to play 2, and I'm definitely playing this game.
Yeah, Robert said in the comments that they had a granny squad in one of the play demos, so that's pretty awesome. Yes. Yeah. Now, so you go from that to, like you said, Tom Clancy. We got Rainbow Six Siege, Operation Phantom, whatever. Okay, cool. Ghost Recon, Breakpoint, whatever. Then Tom Clancy's Elite Squad mobile game. Like, I just don't care. Oh, Rainbow Six Quarantine. Just keeps
I saw a joke about the mobile game where it's like, oh, so y'all been wanting Splinter Cell, huh? Well, here you go. You sure you still want it? Like, at first I was actually getting really excited about it. I thought it was going to be a Go game. I thought that they were doing like a Hitman Go or a Lara Croft Go. Like, I would be all about a Tom Clancy Go. That's where I thought it was going to go, and then it was Tom Clancy's Elite Squad. Okay. They had this TV show with some dude from Always Sunny, which I don't watch Always Sunny, so I don't know that guy's name. I'm sorry. I am interested-ish in the TV show, except that it's going to be exclusive to Apple TV Plus, which basically I'll just have to ask Robert to watch the show for me and tell me if I need to sub for that show, because I know Robert's gonna get that sub. And for those of you who didn't see that, it's basically they're talking like the people who made WoW. It's a fictional game called Mythic Quest, but it's WoW. And kind of similar. It reminded me in a sense to this, instead of Felicia Day's show that she did on YouTube, where it was about their party. This is about the company running the game. Yeah, I know, Robert. So he's saying yes, he's gonna sub that. So he's gonna tell us if that show's worth watching. But I just didn't get why it was there. It didn't feel like the place for it. So for that reason, I gave this a D. Okay. No, that's Microsoft. yeah, why didn't you show more of this game? I completely forgot about it because I'm like, where? Like, it's because at first they were talking about Assassin's Creed, right? And I was like, oh, okay, we already knew that they're not launching an AC game this year. So I was like, oh, cool, maybe they'll just tease us for AC of next year. And then it turns out to be these Gods and Monsters. The art looks super cute, and then it's like 30 seconds, and it's available in February. It's really soon. How are you? What? Like, which is from what everybody like it, from what I've heard and what I keep telling Cassie, because I keep telling her to go back and play it because she's an AC fan, is that Odyssey's the best AC ever. Cool. That's cool. But why did they only show that? Robert says he can't hear you. Says he can hear me.
Weird.
I can hear you.
I just turned on and off my mic, so I think it should be good now. All right, so well, to recap, I was just saying, like, I give it a C minus. Just a lot of it just drug on. They're like, yeah, Watch Dogs is good, but most of it,
cool.
Yeah, most of it, nah. So sorry about that audio issue. But yeah, so overall, it wasn't that great.
I mean, you're being nice, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. It's just like Watch Dogs was awesome. Like that game, like through this point, other than some games that we're going to talk about in the Microsoft conference, like Watch Dogs was the game of the show up to that point of watching it for me, and then they killed all momentum with all that Tom Clancy stuff. Super disappointing, but at the same time, Watch Dogs does look super dope. And then you mentioned the Gods and Monsters, and again, it comes out in February, and they didn't want to show us anything on it. How is that game going to come out in February, and you show that little teaser?
Lame. So let's move on. I'm going to lump the next two together.
Sure.
Because I think they're very similar. I talked about this in in our pre-show stuff, but PC gaming and Devolver, I'm going to lump them together. I'm going to start out with Devolver. I know that's kind of going a little bit out of order, but I want to start with Devolver because I don't have a lot to talk about here. But what's up?
You said, you monster, going out of order.
I know, but hey, you're the one who told me to go in reverse order after I had everything in chronological order, so I've had to like play around here to try to find the right stuff. But
I just like to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, I know. So Devolver, I have loved Devolver's presentations from E3. The past couple of years have been great. I forgot the actress's name that plays Nina here, but like she's so good that I forget that she isn't like their actual CEO. She's so good at playing that part, but completely chewing up the scenery. Some great stuff that came out, like Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. That looked cool. Again, like I said, I'm going to go through these kind of quick, but the Devolver bootleg, I thought they were joking. I thought, like, because they joke with like everything, but I thought this was a fake game. And it's a bootleg of Devolver games. Holy crap, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then having a straight-up arcade game for House of the Gundead, sorry. That's really cool. They've just proven that they know what they know who we are and what we're about, and they can make fun of their own industry in a way that nobody else is doing it. I think it's pretty cool. Like Bethesda tries to be self-deprecating, but they just Devolver just straight up says this is a bunch of shilling for your money. So I loved it.
Yeah, I liked pretty much everything that I saw. It was a really short thing, so they start out by joking like that press conferences are outdated and irrelevant. So they basically just went with the Nintendo model and they called it the Devolver Direct, first ever. Some people don't like the jokey style. I was all about it. I like some of the jokes were just totally whatever, and every once in a while they went a little too Tarantino for me with the blood, but I don't care. Like it was hilarious. I was laughing pretty much nonstop. There wasn't anything in there that I wasn't interested in. I wish the bootleg was on Switch, but it's available now on Steam. That was great. The only problem with light gun games is just the guns break. But as we've mentioned last time with Killer Queen Black coming to Switch, there's still a place out there. If you can make a good arcade cabinet, people will play it. And House of the Undead, that was one of my favorite games growing up. So the fact that they're doing this Enter the Gungeon, House of the Gundead thing is cool. They announced a DLC for the Messenger, free expansion for the Messenger, which was a fun Ninja Gaiden type game called Messenger Picnic Panic. And then My Friend Pedro, that comes out next week.
That's crazy.
And I was all about this game too. Just as usual, I finished Katana Zero right before E3 started. I've been on a Devolver train, and which is funny because this scene that he's showing right now is on the train. All aboard the hype train. If you have not checked out Devolver games, they're cheap, they're fun for the most part. They put a lot of stuff on Steam if you're on PC. They've been porting lots of things over to Switch and PS4 and Xbox. They're such a fun publisher.
Yep. So if we were to grade this conference separate, I give him an A because it's just so over the top in regards to the presentation. It kept you interested. Like I said, they straight up make fun. So for people like us who know what they're doing, they're making fun of their competition. They're making fun of their industry. They called it a Devolver Direct. They didn't even try to come up with another title. They're like, they have a Nintendo Direct, we'll do Devolver Direct. Like, not trying to be artsy. They're like, we're straight up copying Nintendo. Loved that, and everything that they showed looked great. It looked it looked wonderful. So, totally happy.
I gave him a B, only because I was laughing. It was hilarious. But in terms of things that are coming, we had already heard about My Friend Pedro. We had already heard about Messenger Picnic Panic. We hadn't heard about Carry On yet, which that looks sweet. They called it a reverse horror experience, so you're playing as the thing that everybody's supposed to be scared of. That was dope. But the only new things, there was the light gun game, but that's not like a console game. The bootleg thing was like, it was just, I wanted more new stuff. I wanted more new things. I understand though that they're smaller. And so it's not that I'm hating. It's just I was waiting for one of the new games that they announced to be like something where beforehand where I'd see Katana Zero. Like whenever we first saw that trailer, like Katana Zero looked awesome. Like I was waiting for a trailer like that to do it. So I put it at a B.
Yeah, I can see that. I liked it though. So along the same lines, the PC gaming show, which I thought it was decent, but there were some cringy moments in here.
They let her talk too much, man. Yeah. Like, it wasn't her fault. Like, it's just like, you see in the scene here, they have her and this dude next to her. They gave her so many lines, and this dude would just be standing there. Like, there wasn't any ping pong to it or anything like that. I felt bad for her. Like, they were making her do all the skits. She had to do everything ridiculous. She had to say everything ridiculous. They like left her out on a limb. Yep. And those were the parts that made it bad. But compared to last year's PC gaming show, like through the roof improvement.
Yeah, I would agree. We were talking about this beforehand. We were saying that this is usually the driest conference. Yeah. Like half of it's going to be about PC architecture. Yeah. And we got some interesting stuff that came out. Evil Geniuses 2 looks fun. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't I wouldn't say impressed, but I thought it looked cool at least. I'm really excited about Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
Okay.
crazy excited about this because I loved was it 2004, I think, when the other one came out? I really liked it. For like a brief amount of time, like I'm into horror anyways, but like totally got into the whole vampire genre for a little while. Like I didn't dress goth or anything. Like you won't find weird pictures of me, but this game was great. And to have a sequel to this, I was really happy about it. And they kind of dove into it. So I was happy about that. But Chivalry looked like garbage.
Really?
Like, to me, this looked like garbage. Like, when they showed... So, this combat looks like... it wasn't For Honor, there's something else. Like, that, the head coming off there just looks... It looks like PS3 graphics, if not worse. And this is PC gaming. This is when all the graphics should be just remarkable. And it looked like a PS3 to me. Was not impressed. You didn't mind it?
I didn't mind it, but I didn't play the first one, so I don't really know anything about this franchise.
Graphics are similar.
The combat looked fun. It didn't look bad. Like I have, unless something just looks absolutely awful, I have a hard time. I don't like being that person anymore, where it's like, man, those graphics suck. I mean, watching this video just now, even like, still didn't look bad.
Okay, but you gotta agree with me that Shenmue 3.
I mean, that game
looks so dated.
That's Shenmue.
But this is like...
It's a Kickstarter game.
It's a Kickstarter game, but like this is a game that so many, like, the people who like it are like hardcore into it. But also the creator like is not wanting to do just a third. He wants to do like another one after this and possibly a fifth. So in that case, it's like, all right, you really need to step up in the times in regards to graphics, and I just don't know if it's going to do that well. Like you said, it's a Kickstarter game. This is a very niche crowd that's wanting this, so I don't know how to feel about it. Also, Epic Game Store exclusive.
Yeah.
So,
on PC, it's on console too.
On PC. Yeah.
That was what I thought. I mean, I thought that this was interesting across the board, just how many of these games were coming to console. It's just that they were starting at the PC gaming show.
Sure.
Thought that was cool. Just like that they were getting games in there, like even though they're not going to be exclusive to PC, which is always my least favorite. I hate things that are exclusive to PC just because I don't play on PC very much anymore. Yeah, Shenmue doesn't look good. It looks there's that other genre that it reminds me of that I just can't think of the name right now. Not genre, that other franchise that has had a resurgence recently. Japanese game, Yakuza. Okay, it looks like Yakuza, and Yakuza doesn't look good either. Apparently, from what I heard, the story, the voice acting and stuff is fun. Apparently, the worst part about it is the combat, and that's the part that you don't expect to be the worst part, because it's supposed to be like beat 'em up action. It's supposed to be like Virtua Fighter looking combat, and apparently that's not as good, at least right now. So that was disappointing to hear. A couple of things that stood out to me. I don't care about this game at all, but Dota Auto Chess not being on Steam. So they're releasing Dota Auto Chess, which is a Dota game, Dota's Steam. Yeah. They're releasing it as a standalone game on the Epic Game Store.
Yeah. Who, by the way, the Epic Game Store did sponsor the PC.
Yes, it did.
the PC showcase. So I thought this was weird, especially for Dota.
Yeah. So they're just calling it Auto Chess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they also said, as far as PC goes, so that makes me wonder if they're going to put Auto Chess on consoles. So this has been a big thing that I've seen recently on Twitch, an up-and-coming Twitch streaming game. So it started off as a Dota mod. It's this weird kind of like think like a Pokemon type thing or whatever, but it auto battles, like, so you set all your creatures up and then the battle starts and then the battle fights each other. That's the extent of what I know about the game. I've heard it's fun. I will not download it because I don't care enough, but if it comes to console, I might check it out. But it was just a game that was made off of a Dota mod, which is a Steam game, now becoming its own separate standalone game, exclusive to the Epic Game Store. I just thought that was the biggest like middle finger to Valve that Epic could do.
Yep.
A couple of other games. I'm not going to talk about Baldur's Gate 3 until I want to be disappointed because I just thought. But
I don't know enough about it. They've shown a cinematic trailer and that's it. So I need more. Yeah.
Chibi Conan was funny.
Yeah. Conan Chop. So apparently, I like how they straight up said like we announced this, and apparently I think they said they announced it April 1st by accident, so people thought it was a joke.
It was a joke.
It was.
It started out as an April Fool's joke.
Oh, I thought he just said like that was bad timing. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I just don't get it. Like,
It looked fun.
Like, I like Conan, so like I said, I dove into and I had to stop myself from playing Conan Exiles because I liked it so much. This is Conan Unconquered, a little cinematic trailer on it, but like I really liked it, and I realized that I would spend way too much time in it. But I mean, I guess I like the idea of such a gritty and horrible land and creating the chibi artwork with it. I guess that works.
Are you now showing the RTS Conan?
Yeah, this is the RTS Conan. But it just reminded me of that because they talked about that. I couldn't find any good gameplay trailer, but I just thought I'd show the...
I don't think there was one. That was what was weird about it. It was like Conan Unconquered, RTS Conan. It's coming out, or it's coming out soon, or it either already is out, but they didn't show anything about it, so I just thought it was weird. Yeah. I was like, okay, cool. Real-time strategy Conan.
All I found online was, I did find people and their playthroughs of it, but as per usual, like, if I can't find a trailer, I'm not going to put someone else's gameplay up there, so... we had some weird announcements, though, like Griftlands.
Yeah! This actually looked cool to me.
Alright, because to me, I was just... I didn't know how to feel about it. Like, and I
really?
Like card games,
I thought you'd be all about it.
I may need to try it.
Okay.
Maybe if I try it, maybe it'll be better because I like card games.
Yeah.
But like it didn't hook me enough to like. I like the art style. Like it reminds me of what is it? Like just the animation movement, not necessarily the style, but it reminds me of what's that name? That the 80s full animated thing. It was in Stranger Things season 2.
I mean, you're talking about like He-Man?
No,
okay.
I'm completely spacing it, but like I thought that was kind of weird.
I thought you'd like this game. Like whenever I saw it, I thought, oh, this seems like something a roguelike deck building game.
I might like it. I don't know. I need to try it.
Which, by the way, Slay the Spire's out on Switch now.
Yeah. Planet Zoo also I thought it looked okay. It looked cute, but like I don't know how much time are you going to like jump in and like dive in and play this.
I mean, this game is made for one specific type of people. I mean, this is a sim game, so that was the game looks beautiful. The animals look cool, animation looked great. I'm not a sim player. I've never been a Roller Coaster Tycoon or a Sims 4 or whatever. Yeah. Like it's just not. I don't have that kind of creativity design-wise in my brain. So I always end up playing them, and I make like this park that doesn't function or something. So if you like The Sims, I'm going to bet that you will like Planet Zoo.
Yeah.
Mosaic stuck out to me.
Yeah. Mosaic looked good.
It seemed like it was a commentary or something. So it started by these people were playing this game, which is also available for free that I downloaded, called Blip Blop on mobile. It seems like it might be like highlighting people's addiction to like either technology as a whole or maybe mobile technology. They don't really say anything, but the art style about it looked interesting. I'm very intrigued by this game.
Yeah, no, that one looked cool, and another one that I'd throw in there for one that I was excited about, which I'm sure you couldn't have guessed, but Midnight Ghost Hunt.
Yeah, that looks cool.
It looked cool, looked interesting, like more serious Ghostbusters kind of going on. Yeah.
And then, did you see the Noir one, Genesis Noir?
No, which one?
Genesis Noir. So that was...
Yes, I did.
This is where I was like, oh, this is a cool, like, noir-looking game, and then it ended up being called Genesis Noir. So it's apparently like, welcome to the Big Bang. Like, I have no idea what the game's about. I don't understand what you're supposed to be doing, but the art looks sweet.
Yeah.
like it. I'm all about this art style. It looks awesome. I don't know what to expect, but they hooked me with this kind of trailer into wanting to hear about this game some more.
Yeah, I expect a very interesting story and very inventive playthrough. So I'm gonna buy that.
Looks like something that you should maybe smoke a little something or drink a little something while you're playing it. Seems like that would help out.
I think so. I will say briefly on Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Briefly on this, I want this to be good.
It's gotta be good.
I really want it to be good, but at the same time, I don't know anything about it. They've said they wanted to make the ultimate D&D kind of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Great, fantastic, good for you. I need to know more about the gameplay. I need to see more of the world other than this trailer. The trailer looks great. It's almost Lovecraftian in the way that this guy, like, not only, you know, he almost evolves out of, or whatever came out of him. It's sick. It's interesting. I need more though.
To me, I hated that they ended the conference with this. It made me mad. I was looking forward to it. They hyped it up. They were like, we're going to talk about Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, let's talk about Baldur's Gate 3. I was totally excited. So they showed the same exact trailer that was at the Google Stadia announcement, which, again, got hyped. There was a tease a week or two ago about this game potentially being made. It is being made by the same people who made Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2, which is one of, like, it's hailed as one of the best modern RPGs of its time. If there's people that I wanted to make Baldur's Gate, it was going to be this company. And so the fact that they're making it is great.
Yeah.
But I don't get why they pretty much had the same talk that they did at Stadia, and every question they asked, they're like, well, we can't tell you that. Well, you know, you'll find out. The only thing that they two interesting things that they said, they're using 5th edition D&D rules for building their game system around, and they're making a tabletop prequel campaign that, you know, for those people who like to play D&D, they're making that, and that comes out in September. So that was the only two tidbits. They closed the show with this. Yeah. And it was a decent show. I liked it was 2 hours long. It was really long, but like we said, the pacing was a whole lot better, and they hyped up talking about Baldur's Gate 3, and then I think they should have either had some prepared answers beforehand or something. Like, they should have known that these dudes were not going to say anything.
Yeah, or have not shown it during the Google Stadia announcement. That trailer would have been a great reveal. Like, to keep it under wraps, then all of a sudden, hey, guess what? There's a new Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Would have been great, but we knew about it Thursday. To me, it didn't quite work unless they were going to dive in further, like you mentioned. So I gave this conference a C. While there were some good things, there was just a lot of cringy weirdness, and it did not. It drug on for 2 hours, and it felt like 2 hours.
Yeah, I gave it a B+. For a lot of reasons. The biggest reasons were, though, that even though a lot of these games weren't for me, there was only 2 hardware things. They mentioned there was a monitor in there, and then there was a gaming chair that they very briefly talked about. But other than that, it was games. It was games for 2 hours straight. The things that made it not an A was, like, they left her out on a limb. Like, they was just they stopped doing it after a while, but at the beginning they're like, who's excited? Like, you got to stop doing that. You want to get people excited, show a game. Like, you want to see people get excited, like, put Final Fantasy VIII on the screen and see them get excited. Like, they'll be this. Put Zelda on the screen, you'll see noise. But it was all games, except for those 2 minor hardware things. I give them mad props for that, and they kept that going for 2 hours.
Sure.
Was not unhappy with that.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that it showed these hosts are much more green when it comes to this. I think that she did a great job with what she was given, but she was like, they leaned on her heavily. And that to me, that did not set her up for success. And Day 9's a goof. So, like, yeah, in small doses, it's fine, but it just kept going.
Yeah.
So,
good stuff, though.
Yeah, good stuff. So moving on to what I would say, what I was hoping would be my favorite conference was my biggest letdown I've had in so long. Bethesda. I will say I was right. Todd Howard did come out and like straight up say, "Hey, with what we did last year, I'm surprised you guys are here." Like I thought that was funny. Like he knows that they didn't do well in that, but I find it funny that like shortly after that they talked about Fallout 76, and that, you know, they did say in an interview prior to this that Elder Scrolls Online had horrible reviews and horrible reception when it came out.
It did.
And it took them a year and a half or so to get into it. So Fallout 76 Wastelanders is adding NPCs. So this is a free DLC, and obviously it should be, but it's going to add NPCs, it's going to add towns, it's going to add quests, and it's going to add dialogue trees. So all the things that we want in Fallout are going to be in a Fallout game.
All the things that should have been there at launch are coming.
Yeah. I'm just going to quickly go through the other, like, there's a Winter Dev Diary. They're talking about like PvE and stuff. And real quick, because just want to get Fallout out of the way, because they also are... Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong one. That's spoiling things. There's also a... sorry. They're also adding a Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Because every game needs Battle Royale. I maybe I'll go try Fallout 76 again.
You own it, don't you?
I do, and I just don't. Maybe I'll go out and try it again, maybe towards the end of the year. But I feel like they could have given me a good Fallout game, and instead they gave me like a shell of a game.
Yeah.
And now it's like ready to go. It's like I was in an early access on Steam, and no one told me I was in early access. That's
$60 early access.
$60 early access.
So we've talked about this ad now, so I don't want to beat a dead horse. Like we even asked, like, is Todd Howard going to apologize? He didn't apologize. He had already done an interview previously saying like, hey, we knew it was going to be, you know, we talked a lot about that.
Yeah.
They're updating it. All the updates are free for the time being. I'm not sure, but I'm relatively positive that the game is going to come around. And I've heard from people online anyway that are still playing it now, like that it's already come around quite a bit. Similar to what Patrick just mentioned about ESO starting off poorly. ESO is now hailed as a fantastic MMORPG.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it. It's just whatever, dude. Like, I didn't like that. I know that this has to be a part of the conference, but I didn't like the way it started. I didn't like that his like one joke in there, you know, about being surprised you're still here. Whatever. I don't know. If 76 succeeds, cool. I still think I still think in terms of what you did to your fans and making them pay money for the state that it started in. I still have a problem with that. But I also don't necessarily want to keep talking about it. So, but cool. They're adding. They're making it Fallout now.
Sure.
If you're into that, the NPCs are going to be there. The quest lines are going to be there. Go check it out.
And they did say before the conference even started, they had said there will not be any Elder Scrolls 6. There will not be any Starfield, which those are the two games that they announced. So Starfield was a rumor before E3 last year, and they announced that it's a thing. It was like one of the heaviest rumors that you could imagine, where they're like, they just haven't said it, but they're working on something. And then Elder Scrolls 6, like they had said up to that point, we're not even thinking about the next Elder Scrolls game. Todd Howard said, we've announced these during 2018. They said during 2018, we're announcing these to make sure that people know, you know, we're still with you. We're still making these games, even though Fallout 76 is coming out. After the reception of Fallout 76, this is the year where you should start peeling back and showing that, and getting us hyped for those games. I know that they're probably a long way out, But after what happened with Fallout, we need to know that. And honestly, the best thing out of this entire presentation, in my opinion, was Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, this game looks crazy.
That looked crazy. It looked interesting. I liked the presentation. These are the guys who did Evil Within, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm happy with that. Like it's a good team. It looked interesting. It looked mysterious. Like I'm cool. I'm fine with this. Like, but that to me that was the highlight. That was the highlight.
This wasn't Shinji Mikami, or not Shinji Mikami. What's her name? Shinji Mikami is the dude. I can't think of her name now. She was the highlight. Did you see any of this?
She was amazing. I love that like the internet's fallen in love with her because like she was so excited to be there and she was so over the top like
I feel
Japanese.
I feel bad that I can't think of her name now.
I can't remember her name either.
But the funniest part to me, and I think Cass called it out, was just the contrast. So it's like she's super happy, she's super bubbly, she's like hi, and then it was this game, this like creepy, weird like horror game, and like just the happiest lady in the world. Horror game.
Yeah. No, that was the great juxtaposition, which like that's why we love you, Japan. Like just keep being weird, Japan. Like I was happy with that. Like I loved her presentation because it was genuine. It reminded me of I forgot the guy's name. The guy that did Yarny and Unraveled. Like when he first came out to announce that at E3, and he was nervous, but he was so excited. He was so hyped to be there, and this was like his something he loved, he was sharing with everybody. That's how I felt about her. She was so genuine. Absolutely loved it.
It's like, I think you'll like it. Yeah. This game's probably going to end up being too creepy for me, but okay. I'm interested to see how it plays before I completely make a decision. The archer-looking dude in it looked cool. You're absolutely right, though. That was the highlight because otherwise, like, they talked about Blades. They talked about ESO with the most annoying crowd in the entire world. They talked about an expansion to Rage 2, and they talked about, like, how that was a critically acclaimed game. Like,
Really?
Rage 2 got, like, it was like a 7 on Metacritic. But, not that 7's bad. But it's not critically, like, I wouldn't call that critically acclaimed. And Cass always likes to point out anytime that somebody says that, it's like, all you need to do is find that one person.
Yes. That is totally right.
The second highlight for me, like, they did talk about Doom, and while Doom is Doom. Like, but Deathloop. That trailer looks dope.
Yeah, Deathloop was interesting. It's something I didn't know anything about and didn't expect. Caught me off guard. I'm in.
Yeah, completely.
Very interesting. I mean, it hooked me in regard, and it intrigued me. That's what I'll say. It intrigued me in its sci-fi-ness and I can't remember like all of the things that they brought up in it, but it looked great to me. Great. It looked like a good story as well. Just wasn't straight up like action sci-fi. It looked like a pretty good story.
Yeah, after I think this was like the second or third game I'd seen over the weekend that had like time loop involved. So I was wondering if that was kind of like the name of the game this E3 was time loop games. But the idea behind they only showed us a CG trailer, but it makes it seem like you're going to be playing both sides of this. So there was like two characters going after each other. Like I hope that you get to play as both characters and kind of like go through that as their stories intertwine. But aside from what you already mentioned now I've already forgotten the name of Ghost. What was the name of the game we just talked about?
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Ghostwire Tokyo. I think Deathloop was the other saving grace of this conference for me.
Yeah, we had Commander Keen as well. That was interesting. I will say this is very different than old school Commander Keen.
Yes, it is.
Very different, but I'm like, you know what? I like it. It's cute, and I think it's going to be interesting. And mobile Commander Keen, not something I would have guessed that they would have done, but I think this may be a good fit for Commander Keen IP.
Yeah, for those of you, I mean, again, Commander Keen's a really old franchise.
Yeah.
One of the first like side-scrolling action games on PC. One of my favorite games as a kid. I wish that they had still stuck with side-scrolling Commander Keen. Yes. I thought that would have been cool. But I've been coming around more on the mobile landscape. I don't necessarily love like all mobile games. There's the aspects of the loot box type aspects of it that just bug me. Anything that like makes you stop playing the game. But if it's a game that I can buy a piece of and not have to keep trying to throw money at it outside of like Pokemon Go, which you still don't have to. You can play that game completely free. I'm gonna give it a shot. It's a near and dear to my heart franchise, so I will definitely at least play it and report back.
I agree. We also had the completely pointless Elder Scrolls card game trailer.
Yeah.
I've tried the Elder Scrolls card game, and I have not been a fan. It's not as bad as Gwent, which I still find funny that so many people love Gwent in Witcher, and I just feel like it's. I mean, I guess if you're, and similar to how when we played Final Fantasy VII, like if you're playing a game within a game, or if you're playing cards within Red Dead Redemption, okay, I get it. Like I totally get it because I did that in both Final Fantasy VII and Red Dead. But the Elder Scrolls card game, I've not been a fan of. Maybe I need to check it out again. But this trailer, like, shows really nothing of the card game.
Yeah.
Like it just tries to hype up like I guess the world around what you would be doing if you were playing it in a tavern, which is totally ripping off Hearthstone because that's the whole idea of Hearthstone.
It's the whole idea of all of them.
Well, not really.
I understand.
But to me, it's like, oh, I'm meeting in a tavern, I'm playing cards. Like that's Hearthstone or Triple Triad, and they're just trying to get on with that. But I just felt it was weak.
The restream that I was watching, and again, I watch a stream that restreams it so that I can hear more expert commentary of stuff that I don't know. But like one of the guys called out, it was like this trailer cost probably $1 million or a couple $1 million. Like you have to pay for all the set pieces and all the costumes, and you have to pay for the actors to be in there, and then the graphics that they did. Like they paid for that for an existing game that nobody plays. Like, and they didn't make the game look cooler. It was just like, what are we watching?
No, you're right. It totally didn't. The core audience for something like Elder Scrolls, the Elder Scrolls card game, what is it called, Legends? The core of that audience for that is people like me, and people like quite a few of my friends who play Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering. Those are the people you're hooking. You're not going to hook your casual run-of-the-mill gamer to say, hey, do you want to play a game that is a card game, but you're going to play it on your phone or you're going to play it on your PC? You're not going to hook them. You need someone who wants that kind of card game interaction and that strategy. You're not going to get that just out of anybody. And this didn't hook that audience, in my opinion.
Yeah. So a few things left in this conference, but one that I definitely want to highlight just because it was a name of the game across all of E3 was that very briefly mentioned was this thing that they're calling Orion.
Yeah.
Where they're not trying to be a streaming platform. They are trying to give you a streaming engine. They're trying to give you something to use to like, it sounded like they're trying to help you port games into a streamable technology or something like that. Yeah, it's things that I don't completely understand, but their idea was that you will be able to stream game content faster with better latency and lower bandwidth. I'm not the right person to like necessarily break down what that means, but just the fact that people we're going to talk more about Stadia a little bit during the Microsoft talk here coming up here shortly, but people want to think that this streaming thing is not going to work. Like people, like I have to own my game. I have to have physical hardware. Like no, people, like yes, that is the case right now, and maybe the case for the next 10 more years. Who knows? But with upcoming 5G, with the idea that we're trying to get more people across the world, constantly connected.
Yeah.
This streaming stuff ain't going nowhere. Like you have all these companies investing in this. I like how Bethesda threw a slight at Oculus, by the way. I don't know if you caught that, where they mentioned that they were the first people to do VR in modern times. I actually just finished the Oculus book that the guy who wrote Console Wars wrote, so that's why I happen to notice. But again, this was mentioned Microsoft, Google Stadia. Now Bethesda's jumping on board with an engine technology. Like streaming is they're trying to make this a thing. They're trying to push it forward. I know that there are going to be lots and lots of people. It's been very auditory about how much hate is going towards it, but I just thought it was interesting that I didn't expect this. I thought it was a weird thing to put in this conference. I think it should be something that should be in GDC. Yeah. But they brought it up.
I agree. GDC would have been a better place for this, and more than likely we'll do more deep dive around that. I'm going to be doing more research into it as well, but we'll table that because I want to talk a little more about that when we talk about Xbox.
Yeah.
So other than, that was basically Bethesda's conference. Oh, and Blades is coming to Switch.
Yeah, and Doom. There was a big chunk of Doom. The thing about Doom, it's Doom. Like, it's awesome. It plays extremely well. It's going to have a hardcore heavy metal soundtrack. It looks better. Like, you saw, it was fast-paced, like, way fast-paced. Like, people doing all kinds of crazy things that I don't think I could ever do while playing Doom. And I'll probably eventually play this game. I'm not going to play it at launch. I'll wait till it's on discount, just because there's you know this about me and a lot of other people. I'm just not a big demon person. It's just, there's only so much like hell things that I want to do. But the game does look insanely good. It looks fantastic.
No, I was going to say, no, Doom, the recent... I didn't think what was it, 2005, whatever there was a 2000, like late 2000s one that Doom that came out. I can't remember what year that was, but that was okay. But the latest Doom iteration is pure like adrenaline madness, and it's great. I think that it does get a little like dark and demony, but it's not, or I should say, it's not too dark. It's like there's imagery there, but it's not as like satanic. It's as little Satanism as you can imagine on a game having to deal with hell.
It is.
That being said, I get it. I think the game is great, but it's more of that. If you like that, you're just getting more of that. It's probably going to be good, but I think the people who are going to play Doom Eternal, this didn't get more people to pre-order it or be excited about it. They're already excited about it.
Yeah. So with all that said, this was before I was feeling like worse, so I actually graded this probably a little higher than I would have graded. I almost changed it, but I just didn't want to be a person that like flip-flops on my grade, because I like this probably less than Ubisoft because it didn't have Watch Dogs, but I gave Bethesda a C-. I probably would have graded it lower. But
I gave it a D, because, and in traditional grading, you didn't fail, but everything that they showed us, other than, I guess, Doom Eternal is the only one that's not out. Everything else that they showed us are games that are already out, and they've shown, hey, we're just giving you some more stuff in your game that you play, and it did not get me even that excited about those games. It was just really disappointing for a developer who, Ubisoft's a publisher, Nintendo is, hardware maker, publisher, and developer. Bethesda's the only ones here who are like, we make our own games and we also distribute.
And we do what we want. And
being the only one to do that, the only other company
Square.
I can put in there, okay, yeah, I forgot about Square. Square is also a big publisher. Okay, so I'd put Square in there as well. The only other one I could think of was Blizzard. Was the only other one that I could think of that was just like, we're doing whatever we want. Here's the stuff, and you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was a big lull year for them. Like, so I'm hoping that we hear more later this year about Starfield and Elder Scrolls or something, because this was just a letdown. I give it a D because it wasn't terrible, but it was a letdown. It was a real big letdown.
Yeah. And I don't have much more to say. I hate on Bethesda enough as it is. They're like, as big of a company as they are, like, They disappoint me constantly. My biggest thing that made me mad during this conference was that they brought up Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 again just to say that we're still working on them. Like, don't even talk about it. Don't even mention it. If you're not going to show me anything, you did this. You did the same thing Nintendo did. The same thing we criticized you for before was that you brought it up and then had nothing to show us. And you brought it up again and still had nothing to show us. Yeah. Just stop talking about it. I don't care. I don't mind when companies do that. I don't want to hear about it. Like, if you want to say, like, we saw with Breath of the Wild where they gave us that awesome intro. If they don't talk about Breath of the Wild sequel again for another year or two, I don't care. I don't want to hear about it unless you got something new to show me.
Yeah. And knowing Nintendo, they'll probably say we are hard at work, whatever. But like, because that's just what they will do. But yeah, to me, this was a letdown, and this is, like I said, this is the conference that I was most looking forward to because I thought they were going to have to turn it around after the Fallout 76 debacle, and they didn't turn it around at all. So I was let down.
Yeah.
I want to move into what I'll say is our last section. I'm going to lump EA and Xbox together. Because EA, we just had two things really to talk about here. So I figured we just talk about EA real quick and then go on to Xbox.
Fallen Order, baby!
That's all that matters. Fallen Order. Who cares about everything else? I was already excited about this game, but... and again, they have said this is not going to have loot boxes, microtransactions, all that stuff.
Single player
experience. I am so excited. They said we want this is a single player story. It's all about the experience and diving in. I am so excited about this in so many ways. And Saw Gerrera there, like, there's so many things that I'm excited about this game. And now, I mean, well, I guess we knew the time frame that this was going to be in and everything. So because it's Fallen Order, but like to see some of these, like at least a familiar character, I think that's the only one that we've seen. I like the new droid. I think he's adorable.
Yep.
I'm excited about it. Some Death Troopers going on and lightsaber combat. So what could go wrong?
Yeah, and after getting with Respawn, with Apex Legends, with finishing Titanfall 2, which I did recently, Respawn's a great developer for this. They're very good at action. You see right here on the screen where the wall running, that is very Titanfall and Apex. That is I call that Respawn wall running right there. That's what they do. The combat looks sweet. The way that they were showing the force power slowdown. There's one point where like he slows down time for a second, like where really he's speeding up, but like he did it where a stormtrooper shot at him, he force pulled the stormtrooper and put the stormtrooper in the path of his own blaster bolt. All of that is awesome. It made me completely excited about the action. The only thing that it didn't do, and just the only critique that I had, is I still don't care about that character at all. There's nothing to make me. We haven't seen any like story things, and maybe they don't. Maybe they're doing that on purpose. Maybe they don't want to go heavy on that because they want you to experience the story. But for right now, he's just this generic white dude that is that has a lightsaber. So as long as they put some story to that guy, I'll end up being happy. I'm already probably going to be very happy just based on the fact that they're making a single-player Star Wars game that looks great. Yeah. But it would have been nice. I care more about the droid right now than I care about him. It's like I expect this guy is going to die either in this game or a game or two from now, depending on how long they want to stretch this series out. There's no way that he can live. But if you kill that droid, I'd be pretty upset.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Same thing with dogs in games or in movies. Like, I'm like, don't do it. I'm wondering if they're not going to give too much of the backstory of your character, similar to how the Jedi Knight series worked, where like Jedi Knight 2, where they just kind of throw you in and they kind of let you fill you in your own backstory. So I don't know if they're going to dive in or who this character is, but I don't know. It could work either
Disney.
way.
I expect them to write it. I expect there to be a book about him or something before too long. Some kind of tie-in novel or comic book. I expect them to milk this for as much as it's worth. But hopefully they put some story in the game to care about too. But they announced that's coming out November 15th.
Yeah. And we also got some more stuff on Apex Legends, which I've not been following, but
I watched enough.
You watch enough of it, but bringing in additional character and additional weapons, right?
Mm-hmm. And season 2.
Yep.
So they're trying their best to follow the model that Fortnite has put out, where Fortnite regularly does new seasons, which come with new things. The only thing is Apex isn't keeping up. It looked good. Like the season 2 content looks good. The new character power looked interesting on what they're going to do with it. The game is great. It's just they're not updating fast enough. But if they're keeping up, if they're still making money off of that's the big thing. That's another Respawn game. So Respawn's making Fallen Order. Respawn's making Apex Legends. Respawn is pretty much doing all the work right now. Since BioWare kind of flopped on Anthem, so we want good things for Respawn, so that they stick around and keep making us.
Because it's a great developer. I mean, I was already going to be in on it, but totally in on it when I heard, when Star Wars Respawn. Yeah, it's going to be good stuff. Wanted to move on to Xbox with Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
Totally happy about this.
Such good vibes.
Yeah, this is something I've been looking forward to for a while. I'm even more excited about it now. What else did we get? Sorry, I want to get through here. I don't want to speed through, but we also got Bleeding Edge, which looked amazing.
It's looked crazy.
Yeah.
So this is like a Team Fortress or like Overwatch. It has that feel to it, except so it's 4v4 melee combat instead of guns, which was crazy.
Yeah, it looks great, and again they're trying to get into the whole Overwatch.
There's got to be some esport handle that they're going for. It's not going to be for me because I'm not good enough. It's probably something that I'll check out unless it is like $60, but it looks great. It looks cool.
Yeah, I know Blair Witch is totally not for you either.
Nope.
I'm totally playing this.
I'm sure.
Very, very excited about this.
My favorite thing was just everybody was like, "This feels like Blair Witch," and I think Cass called it out before I did. Where it's like, "Is that like Blair Witch?" And then it's like, "This looks like Blair Witch." Oh, yeah, it's Blair Witch.
Totally Blair Witch. Yep. I'm sure you'll be playing Ori and the
Will-O-Wisps.
The audio just popped up and it says it's muted, but it's not. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I loved Ori and the Blind Forest, so I think this is going to probably be one of the best games. This comes out later this year, is that right?
No,
early
February.
That's right.
And Outer Worlds is October. Bleeding Edge is actually later this month. The art looks fantastic. Like you're seeing on the screen here with the spider. The art looks dope. It looks great. It looks beautiful. Props on this kind of game. It's a difficult, hard game. I actually didn't play the first Ori, but I'm still waiting. Like since they put Cuphead on Switch, I'm still hoping they bring Ori to the Switch, but it looks so good.
Yeah, I'm totally happy about that. Minecraft Dungeons I thought was an interesting pick.
I thought this was funny. I was like, is this like Minecraft Diablo?
Yeah, but I don't know who this is for. I mean, I guess
kids.
I guess as I say that, my nephew who loved Minecraft has, he's now 11 and he's like, I get bored with that now, but at the same time, he'll still play it. But I could see him playing this. Maybe that'll get him into the isometric kind of Diablo-esque thing.
And the interesting thing about this, so by the way, we made it clear we're talking about Microsoft stuff. So these are all Microsoft Studios so far. Every single game that we mentioned is Microsoft Studio. Outer Worlds is Obsidian's game. Outer Worlds is still coming to multiple consoles because they were working on that beforehand. And then this game is made by Mojang. And this is also coming to every console. I didn't write that down, but I find it interesting that Microsoft is owning these studios and still allowing some of them to be inexclusive.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm gonna skip around just a little bit here because I want to save one thing until later.
Sure.
Battletoads. This has been rumored forever.
Yeah.
That they were going to get another Battletoads game. I absolutely love Battletoads on the NES. I think it's hilarious. I think this is going to be a great fit, and I believe this is coming out to Switch, right?
Not that I know of.
I thought it was coming out to Switch as well as other consoles, but
If it is, I didn't write that down. As far as I know, this is Xbox exclusive, but I could be.
I thought it was Switch as well, but either way, I'm going to play it.
I don't know. It looks fine. I thought it was weird they didn't have a release date. The one that you're showing now is actually one of my like surprise. Like this looks super interesting and cool. And this was
this is The Legend of Wright.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks so inventive and so cool.
It made me think of Yoshi's Papercraft.
Yeah. It's that inventive. And when I see something like that, I feel like I have to give them money.
Yeah.
Because of the creativity involved in this.
And they said this is next year, but we don't know what the game's about or what's going on. It was just this video showing all these art styles, but like whatever it is, like I'm very interested. Based on that. RPG time.
Yeah, I'm also interested in Lego Star Wars because I love Lego games and I love Star Wars. So
yeah, I thought this was interesting because we already have like the first like 7.
Yes, we have the first 7, and we didn't get one for episode 8, and now they're going to do a single game that's going to have 1 through 9 on it. I'm curious if that means that the first 6 or 7, are they going to be the games that we already have? I'm not saying it'd be a bad thing. I'm assuming that they're just going to package it, and then you're going to have 8 and 9 tacked on.
I don't think so because they even said, and you just saw it in the text there, this is a brand new game. So it doesn't seem like it. So they're calling this the Skywalker Saga, which is also interesting. But they said all 9 films, 1 new game, Star Wars the Skywalker, Lego Star Wars the Skywalker Saga.
Yep.
I think they're just going to be taking pieces because I mean you still can't make a kids game that long because if you had the first 7 games and then package that in, like it's forever. That would be a lot of value.
Yeah.
But no, I think they're going to piece together a different thing, highlighting more. I don't know. I don't hate Lego Star Wars. I don't really care about it either. Yeah. I like building the Legos. You can't see it, but off screen there's an X-wing. There's a Millennium Falcon over there.
I think I'm gonna get. I haven't told her yet, but she probably won't watch this far into the E3 show. But I think I'm gonna get her the Jurassic Park Lego set for her birthday, because that thing looks amazing, and it'd be fun.
It's funny that you could spoil her birthday present on the podcast.
I don't think she's gonna watch this far into it.
That's funny.
I don't think so. But we also got Forza Horizon 4 Lego.
That was interesting.
Very interesting.
That car looked real at first.
That car did. I thought it was real.
Yeah.
Like the amount of pieces involved in that.
They said like 500,000 or something like that.
Yeah. Now that being said, I'm not downplaying what they're doing at all. But there's software that like you and I and anyone can jump in, and if you're like, I want to make this in Legos, they can basically give you like a parts list of how to build it. Yeah. So it's still going to take.
I was about to say you still have to put it together though. It's still impressive.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not going to give you step by step. The computer doesn't give you step by step, but it's like, here's your parts. Now you've got a 3D model of what the parts would be. I think that looked. I don't know who. I mean, obviously it's for Forza people, but I thought it was kind of interesting. 12 minutes. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was going to talk about 12 minutes too. There's another game I want to talk about after this. But this game was another standout one to me. This top-down indie time loop game. Very interesting. It seems like you're going to be like maybe like either trying to prevent a murder or solve like who's murdering. It's probably a combination of both. Mm-hmm. This game has been a long time coming. I think we heard about it 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. But it looks really good.
Yeah. So again, very interesting, inventive in regards to the story, in regards to gameplay. I'm curious. I can't wait.
Yeah, and then another indie game that I wanted to highlight. Super cute art style. It went really depressing on the end, but I'm still in that Spiritfarer. Whenever they start showing this thing, it's like this side-scrolling, cute art. Like it looks right. This is a game where this is right up my alley for people who know the kind of games that I'm into the last couple of years. And then it turns out it's about like I feel like you're death. Like you could either be death or you're the boatman. You're like ferrying your friends' spirits and stuff. So it ended up having like a really depressing premise to go with it.
Yeah.
But I like that. It seems like they're going. It seems like this is going to be like probably an emotional game to play. But I'm in. I was completely in the second that it came on screen. Even after I found out the premise, I'm still in. The art looks so good, so good.
It looks great. It looks like the story and what they're showing. So they learn how to say goodbye, and the idea of closure, and for the happiness of that after that sorrow, I think is going to be really interesting. Again, games and art evoking emotion. I mean that's so important. So yeah, I'm totally in on that.
I lied about other small games. There's another one, the Way to the Woods.
Yeah.
Where you play as the deer and you're leading around the fawn, I'm guessing. There's probably going to be something emotional that happens there. I can already predict some kind of Bambi situation going on. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But again, anybody who knows this, again, it's a very... like it's point and click adventure. It looks like maybe like simple puzzle solving to go along with it, but a journey that you're going on there. It gave me Journey vibes. I'm gonna be about it.
No, I can totally see that. Switching gears completely though.
Yeah.
A lot of gears. So
this trailer sucked.
Yeah, it sucked. I love the Gears of War games.
That's amazing. One of my favorite franchises.
Yeah, so I've played all of them except for there's one, Judgment, I didn't finish.
It's
but
not good.
Every other game with Whitney. So this just really didn't do it for me. And then we got Gears of War Escape that was announced, which
looks fun.
That looks fun, but
it's a multiplayer mode. It looks like it's kind of like a horde, like fighting off the horde type thing.
Which that could be fun. It may not be, honestly. I prefer the campaign. I enjoy the campaign of these.
But it made me think of Call of Duty Zombies. Like it made me think of a thing like that where it's a PvE situation instead of being PvP, because they're also known for having a great PvP mode with their multiplayer, but having a PvE mode a la Zombies, but having that in Gears, it seemed fun.
Yeah. Weird tie-in to Terminator Dark Fate.
0 sense.
I don't know if it's because it's... Okay, so someone was trying to say, oh, it's because it's the future. Well, yes, but Gears of War doesn't take place on Earth. So...
No, this was totally them throwing money, and for people... We didn't mention it in the other conference because it was so small, but Terminator also... had bought a little something for Tom Clancy, one of the Tom Clancy games during the Ubisoft conference. They showed it for all of 10 seconds. Whatever. Okay. Yeah. I hate that kind of buying stuff. Yeah.
And we got Gears Pop.
And that looked cute too until they showed the gameplay, and I was totally off by it then. Like I originally thought this game was going to be cute. This trailer is cute. One of those things like you can get behind, but then you watch the gameplay and I don't get it. Like, is it a pinball thing? Is it I don't understand what you're trying to do in it. Yeah. So it'll probably be a thing where if it's free, then I'll try it out. But
yeah, maybe. But yeah, overall,
it was a really weird Gears stuff. Like I just didn't get that trailer at all, and they did that thing where they broke the stage and went under the I didn't understand what they were doing.
Yeah, but I will say I've been saving this, but the trailer for Cyberpunk,
highlight of the show. I've
already been excited for this game, so that's why I saved this for last. But or almost last.
Yeah.
For last when it comes to games, but the trailer looked great, the story looked great, and then we had a reveal at the very end that Keanu Reeves is in the game. I don't know to what extent, but that was totally awesome. And I loved, that moment right
You're
there.
breathtaking.
You're breathtaking, because someone told him he's breathtaking. He said, no, you're all breathtaking. The man just oozes this positivity, and I absolutely love it. Like, especially everything that man's gone through, and he's just he's all about positivity and embracing people like this. So
what's
really
completely funny about it is, like, he's just John Wick over and over again. Like, so there's a new Netflix movie out that, if you haven't seen that, Always Be My Maybe. He's in that movie as well, which apparently he filmed during John Wick. They just came in and they like gave him the script, and he was there for like a couple days, filmed his parts, and then moved on with his life. Other than the breathtaking part, I like the fact that he came out. First of all, they did it where they revealed him animated. In the trailer, which would, like, everybody exploded and then the door opens up and Keanu comes out, and like my favorite thing was he's completely out of his element. Like, he doesn't play games, he doesn't know anything. Like, he even admitted it, which I loved. I thought that was deprecating. Where he's like, I don't understand what's going on in this game at all, but it sounded cool, so I'm in. Before he started, they're all cheering, like the crowd is going absolutely nuts. He's like, guys, I gotta tell you some stuff. Like, it's just like, calm down.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Please let me tell you.
Try to find that moment, like, to show, like, the CG Keanu. Because when he came out, him coming out was great, but CG Keanu, like, you can tell as soon as he bent down, I knew who it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, like, before he even took out the sunglasses, I mean, I could tell by the voice and everything, but that's a great start. And I agree, like, he's playing John Wick in, like, everything now, but at the same time,
I don't care.
He's fine. He doesn't have that much of a range, but he is so cool.
He's never had much range.
No.
I mean, but the Matrix is awesome. Speed's awesome. Like, there's very few things where I just hate him. Like, I don't like a thing that he's in, just because he is what he is. He's an action star, and I think he's a villain in Cyberpunk, which is going to be cool because you don't really see him as a bad guy very often. But the best part of the show, there's a couple other things I mentioned in this show. Like, I don't really need to talk about Borderlands. They didn't say anything new. I thought it was really cool that they're bringing Phantasy Star Online to America, to the West. That was crazy. But the weird thing about this show to me, before we talk a little bit about xCloud, was just that there was zero gameplay.
Yeah.
Zero.
In regards
none.
To
anything.
The whole conference. Yeah, the whole conference was CG, which gets people hyped, but it doesn't tell you enough about the actual gameplay experience. This is video games. I mean, if I want to play, or if I want to watch animated movies, I can watch animated movies, and there's some great stuff out there. But yeah, in this case, we're being shown, we're being teased a slice of what could be, but it's not really showing what is, and that's what bothers me. This is where
the credit was due versus Nintendo and versus Square, where the thing about this conference is it felt very 2020. Like, Ori is 2020,
Yep.
Minecraft is 2020, Cyberpunk got a release date, that was the thing we didn't mention, April 16th for Cyberpunk. That was way sooner than I thought it would be. But that's 2020.
Yep.
The RPG Legend of Right, 2020. I'm just scrolling down the list here. Lego Star Wars is 2020. Oh, we didn't talk about Dragon Ball Z, but that game looks dope.
That does.
It's now, instead of being Project Z, it's Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, early 2020. Way to the Woods, 2020.
Yep.
2020. Dying Lights, 2020. Like, there was very few things that they talked about that were 2019 in this, and while that's fine, that's what E3 is for. It's for the future. I want to see I want to see play some games. There was like, I don't want to hear you talk about it like like conferences make a mistake in doing sometimes, where they talk while you're seeing gameplay. No, I just want to see the game played. Like we saw with Respawn, we saw 10 minutes. I don't need to see 10 minutes either, but we saw like over 10 minutes of Jedi Fallen Order playing the game being played, what
Final
the game
Fantasy
is going to be.
VII. We got Final Fantasy. We got so much gameplay.
We saw them fighting a boss in Final Fantasy VII. In the Nintendo conference, there was we saw Luigi's Mansion being played. We saw so much, but in this conference, where we were saying Sony's not there, you have a chance. It's a solid conference.
Yeah.
Like this is not. I'm not. Whenever I'm saying this is not a bad conference at all. I cannot say like this was bad. Like, but I was disappointed by the fact that we didn't see anything played. Nothing was played.
Yeah. No, I agree. I will say, when they talked about technology, I was excited about this because this, like you said, everything's 2020. Everything's moving towards the future. Starting out talking about the Xbox Elite controller, I was like, that's really cool. It's a really big advancement because their Elite controller is really good.
It is.
I'm glad they're catering to this boutique audience.
Absolutely.
Because there's money there and there's people who really care and really want that. That is your
It's your Razer keyboard.
It really is. It totally is. I'm happy about it. I'm really happy about that. And then they started talking about xCloud.
Yeah.
And this is right on the heels of Google talking about Google Stadia, which we knew about. Mm-hmm. We knew that these titans, if you will, are all moving towards streaming. So basically, we have Microsoft and their Azure servers versus Google's what is it? Not AWS. Google servers, but it's basically between those two, and now trying to stream your gameplay off of their servers. This is a new frontier. It's just a question of is everyone going to be able to keep up? I think that in 10 years, I don't know if it'd be the majority, but I think that a good amount of people will just be streaming all of their games. I'm streaming media off of my PC when I'm at the gym. I'm watching documentaries off my PC. This is, and Netflix is a normal thing now. Gameplay, once our 5G comes out, once the internet speeds get a little bit better across the country, this will be something that the majority of the country would be able to access. 10 years from now, majority of the country will be able to access this easily.
Yeah, the thing that is interesting about xCloud is that, so they mentioned their own servers, which is a big deal. That's the Google Stadia competition. But what nobody's talking about, that I find interesting that not a lot of people are mentioning, but is PlayStation already does one of the things that they mentioned. So the other thing that they mentioned, other than streaming off Azure servers, is that you're going to be able to use your own Xbox One or whatever the next Xbox is. You're going to be able to use that as a hub. PlayStation already does that. We've talked about it. And it works decently well. And now with upcoming controller support on like iOS and everything, it's going to get even better now that you can use your PlayStation controller natively on iOS and maybe eventually Android. Who knows? But you can. I could do it right now. I have my iPad right here next to me. My PlayStation 4 is in my living room. I can turn on my PlayStation with my iPad. I could play a video game right now. That already exists. Nobody's talking. I don't understand how that's being completely ignored with the fact that Sony is already one step ahead of the game in that regard. They're not doing this other thing. They're going to be working with xCloud. But nobody's mentioning the fact that they're doing this hub business before everybody else did it. Yeah. I think that's really odd that that Sony's not getting credit there. But so they mentioned that, and I think that's what's primarily going to be it. Like, there's the server aspect of it too, and that's where Sony's going to be working with Microsoft, and they're going to be competing against Stadia, and I think that's being understated, like way understated. The fact that the two biggest game companies in the world. I know Nintendo is also huge. No disrespect to Nintendo. I mean, at least in the United States, they're the biggest companies in the United States for sure. They're going to be working together on a cloud service for both of their systems. That's big. The Stadia announcement was right before E3. That's why we didn't really go into it. But like, they started talking about it. I've already pre-ordered that because I'm in. Like, I want this to be a thing. I know everybody that I talk to that's down on this. You have a reason to be down on it. The internet is not there yet. The latency is not there yet. The keeping up in terms, if you wanted to play an online FPS, it's not there yet, but it will be. I'm guaranteeing that it will be. If Stadia doesn't get it right, this xCloud thing, they might get it right. There might be a company we don't even know about that might get it right eventually. This is a thing. You want this to be. We don't need to keep buying hardware anymore, guys. We can just buy a controller, have our account, be able to access it anywhere. Oh, my wife's watching on the TV. I'll just go into the media room. Oh, my kid's in the media room. Oh, I'll go on my computer. Oh, I'll go on this. Like, I go in any. The idea of not having to own multiple consoles and just being able to go into any room in my house and log on and play my video games. Like, how are people not into this?
Exactly. No, like, and I'll admit, like, I think part of it is because of the way that Sony has been marketing or lack thereof in regards to pushing their marketing of it. But I forgot that PlayStation could do this as well. So I just installed it on my PC. So, I mean, it's a very simple thing, but if I'm in, I can play a PlayStation game in there, but if the wife's playing something on the Xbox or watching TV and I want to jump in on something, I can come into the office and do it. But the fact that Stadia, anywhere that I am, that I can do that, any room that I'm in, essentially as long as I've got a decent connection, I can jump on. I mean, it allows freedom that I think that a lot of people aren't thinking about. It's the same thing that people weren't thinking about when the Switch came out. And they thought, am I really going to play games? Am I going to really take that thing around with me? And yeah, it's that good to have your games anywhere. To be able to play it handheld or dock the game, this is light years ahead of that because you don't have to have that piece of hardware with you. Like, it's phenomenal. I can't wait.
I don't get how, like, I get, like, there's the argument that people talk about, like, I want physical games. Okay. I want you to delete your Netflix account. I want you to go delete your Hulu account.
Sure.
I want you to go delete your HBO Now. I want you to go delete your Amazon Prime. I want you to go delete your Spotify. I want you to go delete your Apple Music. I want you to go delete all that stuff and stop, and that way you can keep telling me how much you love physical media.
Sure.
Like, stop lying to me.
Yeah,
like, I get it. Like,
there are people out there. But it's very few. It's very few that are like, I'm all in on that are all in on physical media. I like physical media because even with a decent connection with the compression and everything that goes on, like, watching some really, really good movies doesn't really cut it, especially if it's a really dark scene. It doesn't cut it in regards to streaming. I want a Blu-ray of it or I want to own it, sure. But yeah, I'd say 95% of the time, 99% of the time, we're streaming something, especially with my Plex server now. Like, I'm streaming everything. It's just easy. I'm lazy. I mean, why not?
I say all this. I pre-ordered Final Fantasy VII with the Steelbook. Like, there's still things that I want. I'm really jealous that Europe is getting that Link's Awakening Steelbook also. You can look right here. This is all video game stuff behind me. This is all Zelda-related hardware stuff right there. Like, it's not that I don't like physical things, but 99% of the time, I want the other stuff. Like, there is a couple of franchises that I really need the physical games of, and I don't think that that's going to go anywhere for a while. And there's still going to be, and even if there is, there's still going to be third-party companies. I've heard some people floating this as like a collector's edition type thing. Imagine a collector's edition that comes with a code for the game. So, like, it's a collector's edition where you still get like a statue and you still get the other stuff, but you get a code for the game digitally, no disc. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that there's still that range for collector's editions to happen.
Yeah.
Anybody who says, like, this is the death of gaming, you can't do this because physical game, like, you're kidding me. You're lying to me. Go look on your profile right now. I have 400 digital games in my PS4 library.
Yeah.
If I had that shelf full of it, my wife would kill me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like Robert's comment in here saying that all his Jay-Z and Prince went away just when they felt like it. Yeah, that's what happens with a lot of this digital digital rights means you don't really own it. So I get it. Like, there's certain things that, like I said, there's certain things that I want to own. I don't want to rely on someone else giving me access to, like, my Marvel movies or something. Like, I have certain movies that I want, my Batman movies, whatever. Real quick, there are 2 games I wanted to mention before we talk about Scarlet.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about Elden Ring real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Because I know this isn't a big deal for you, but I just really quick wanted to mention it because otherwise, Kevin will kill me. No, I'm actually really excited about this. Hideo Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin teaming up. That being said, just real quick, George R.R. Martin basically helped world build a mythos and a world history, and then handed it off to Miyazaki. That's from everything that I'm hearing, which is fine.
I'll believe it's George R.R. Martin writing when I see it.
Oh, no. I think that, like, he probably showed up and, like, spent a little bit of time, like, world building, like, in a group with Miyazaki and a couple other people, and they wrote everything down, and then he went back to America. I think that's exactly what happened. I think that it's hit enough input of his ideas that they were like, yeah, it was a collaboration. Not to say he didn't have a lot of input, but I think the majority of the bulk was on From. Either way, it's interesting.
The weird thing about this is I'm actually less interested with the fact that they mentioned him working on. Like, it's cool, but From Software is already killing it. Like, everybody knows these games aren't for me. I don't like them. They're not fun for me. I don't think that they're good. But I also recognize that they're well-made games. I recognize that the love for From Software games in the last 5 to 10 years. So I don't think, like, Miyazaki didn't need to put George R.R.'s name on there.
He didn't. I think he wanted to collaborate. Apparently, he's a huge fan. And George R.R. Martin's not a fan of Miyazaki because he doesn't know video games. But
I wish he was a fan of finishing books.
We all want him to finish some books. He's got to write some more history books about the Song of Ice and Fire first, because the first part of that one just came out, and he's got another one that he's going to come out with, which is more of, like, the history of all that. But anyways.
I mean, again, I'm being a downer. It's still cool. Like, it's cool that you get somebody with that much swag right now. Like, not right now. He's had swag for several years now. But that to possibly give you any type of story thing, because honestly, other than their most recent game with Sekiro, like, I know that there's world building and lore that you can find whenever you're playing, like, Bloodborne and Dark Souls, but, like, from a surface level, from a guy like me, whenever you're looking at it, there ain't a whole lot of story. Like,
they don't tell you the story. You have to go find it yourself.
Yeah, and so with Sekiro, like, you played a character, you didn't make the character, like, and there was a story written there. So now they get this guy who is very much known for lore building, and so even if he was there just to give them direction and, like, help them in terms of, like, building a world and how you get people to care about your lore, that's fascinating. That's interesting, and what they can do with that. I'm not going to play it, but you will, and you can tell me all about it.
I will play it, and I'll also play Halo Infinite, because I really hope that they're going back on track with Halo.
Except that they brought Cortana back.
Yeah.
Why'd they do it?
Yeah, well, and Master Chief's supposed to be dead. Like, this kind of undoes his, like, ultimate sacrifice.
He ain't never gonna die.
No, he's never gonna die. Well, they realized when they took him out of the franchise, and then no one bought everyone hated it. The people who bought it hated it, and the other people were like, Master Chief's not in it. Why would I buy it? So I'll probably play it, but this is going to launch on Project Scarlet.
Yeah.
So
before I move on to Project Scarlet, like, just talking about this, like, I'm super excited for Infinite. Hopefully it's a return to form. Hopefully it's great. I still am a little upset about Cortana being there. The weird thing, and I just saw somebody, like, posit this online, and, like, I hadn't really thought about it, but, like, kind of evident of how, like, Xbox in general has done a lot of their, like, games that they come out with. Like, is Master Chief ever going to evolve? Like, are we ever gonna dig deeper into Master Chief, because in this trailer that they showed, like, the trailer was cool. I still wish there was gameplay, but the trailer was cool. It's still weird to, like, he never leaves the suit. Like, he's in there. Like, is he cybernetically, like, bound to his suit? Like, do you need
him to, like, leave the suit though?
I'm just wondering if we're, like, if the depth, I don't know. It's just strange to me that, like, after all these years, we still don't ever, like, really see him at all. Like, it's just this dude in the green suit. Like, his suit doesn't really evolve either, right? Like, he's just this soldier guy. Like, I don't know. It was just a weird thing to think about, and I never even considered it. Like you said, like, do you really need him to leave? I don't know if I do, but I wonder what's going to happen. And, you know, Robert brings up a good point, like with, like, Metroid, like Samus left the suit. Like, yep. And Samus is cool.
Yeah. If they do it, it would have to. I mean, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing, but it would be a game changer, literally in regards to the tone, in regards to who he is. That, and he's been in the suit so long. When you see what he looks like, it's going to be really hard to hit the right, like, look that will fill in what we imagine he looked like. It's like a person who's read, like, a series of books. All of a sudden they get a movie, like the Wheel of Time series that's getting some Amazon series of TV show. Like, people have been reading those books for, like, what, 30 years, and then it's going to come out. Is it going to look like are they going to look like you're envisioning them when you read them? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep. But on to Project Scarlet, though. I think that from a technical standpoint, they did a great job explaining the architecture.
Sure.
And what this thing is capable of, shooting for the moon in regards to some of the graphics and the resolution and frame rate and everything. People were trashing this left and right, saying that they didn't show enough. I'm like, what do you mean show enough? You want to see what the graphics look like? Because, like, yes, I want to see graphics, but they're literally going into the nuts and bolts of, like, without having to tell you the numbers, like a boring way of telling you the numbers. They're like, look, this is how much more powerful this is. This is the kind of ray tracing that it's going to do. This is what it's going to do in regards to shadows. I thought that was cool. And it was a cool way to, like, tease us for, hey, this is coming out next year.
No, I'm with the people on this one. No, there was nothing like, because the most important thing about this, the part that mattered, was that holiday 2020. They put a date stamp on it. Like, they didn't put an exact date, but they said next gen coming next year, Christmas time. Get ready, save up that money. Get ready to drive your kids crazy, because they're gonna be asking you for that Xbox Scarlet. Like, they did that, and Sony has not done that yet. Otherwise, as far as all the nuts and bolts things that you're talking about, like, sure, this video is cool, but it doesn't matter. Like, nobody cares. I don't care about the nuts and bolts. I care about the thing that PlayStation already did. We saw the video. We saw the video of Spider-Man loading in 1 second. They didn't do that. They showed some cool, like, you know, they had the soldering thing in there and the little pieces, and the guy's got the pencil. He's drawing on the screen. Like, I don't care. No, show me games. It's just like everything else. Like, everything about E3 and everything in general, like, nuts and bolts is cool for, like, GDC. It's cool for the people who have to work with this stuff. Yeah. But I just want games. And the thing about this, though, that people were wrong about, they were like, what are you supposed to show? They said, like, this thing potentially can do 8K. People are streaming this on Twitch or on YouTube or on
1080.
Facebook. Yeah, if that. If you're watching this on your phone, you're probably watching it in, like, 420 to 720. Yeah, somewhere in between in there, depending on your connection. There's no way that they're going to show you something graphical, but
you're not going to be able to tell.
They should have done the same exact thing. They should have showed Halo loading in a second. They should have shown something where they threw a bunch of assets on there, but I don't care about any of that because they put a date on it. Like, so if PS5 doesn't hit holiday 2020, that's a big deal. Like, I want to see something now. That just makes me curious about if they skipped PSX last year. Are we getting a PSX in December that says it's coming out in the summer?
We better. Okay, I don't know if it's summer. I don't know. I hope PlayStation beats them. because the gauntlet's been thrown down at this point. That's the important thing to take away on this. This sets the timetable for PlayStation for everyone. Next generation is a year and a half from now.
Yeah,
sounds about right.
Yeah, so and I'm glad that you liked all the notes. Like, it didn't say that to me at all, because the thing about everything that they mentioned was stuff that PS5 already mentioned. PS5 already mentioned the potential for 8K. PS5 already mentioned. I keep calling it PS5. They haven't named it, but it doesn't have a cool. PS5. It doesn't have a cool project name either. Like Project. I just want them to call it PlayStation. Just let's drop the number. Like, let's just move on. But they probably can't. Apple tried to do that once by calling their iPad the new iPad, and that was a dumb name. And then I was, so they're probably just going to call it PS5. They're probably smarter than me. But they already went with SSD. They already went with potential up to 8K. Same things that Microsoft said here. 120 FPS, mentioned that. Yep. They're using AMD. I want to say, somebody probably correct. This is again where I don't know hardware. I think that PlayStation also used AMD architecture, but I could be completely wrong about that. Every spec that they mentioned was exactly what was already mentioned. So if they wanted to one-up Sony, they did by saying holiday 2020. That was the biggest deal to me.
Agreed.
Next gen, next year.
Agreed. Now this next Xbox, the next box, if you will, that will be more similar to the PlayStation than the Xbox and PlayStation are right now, which are very similar to each other. They learned their lesson from a developmental standpoint. Sony learned their lesson in making something too different. So the two of them, they want you to buy their box. They want you to buy in on their brand, but at the same time, the two of them are going to play very easily, very nicely with each other from a developmental standpoint. We're seeing that more and more.
Now, you mentioned that was the other mistake that they made. So what they didn't mention, and what we already know about, so we have Project Scarlet. There's also Project Anaconda, which is supposed to be the super holy crap edition of the Xbox. Why didn't you talk about that instead? Like, theoretically, they're coming out somewhere around the same time, unless they're saying that Anaconda is not going to be ready for holiday 2020. Is it going to be another? I wonder. Also, is Anaconda going to be what we've talked about and what a lot of other people have talked about before, where kind of the future in terms of being able to upgrade individual parts, like, can you put new RAM in the Anaconda? Can you put I don't know what else, graphics card, modular, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm wondering if that's why they didn't mention it. I thought it was super weird to mention Scarlet when we know that Anaconda exists. Yeah. So it's either not going to come out at the same time, or maybe it's not as that much better, because what they're already saying, what the PS5 and Scarlet are already doing, like, that's huge. Like, yeah, you can do 120 and more FPS on a computer, but you can't do that on a console. You could barely get 60 on a console. Yeah. You could barely get 4K on a console. You could barely get good load times on a console. Like, and I love consoles. This isn't a diss. It's just upscaled. It's just that I'm also now it just makes me wonder how much these are going to cost. But holiday 2020, we know there's a new Xbox. Yep. It just made me that much more excited for PSX. Hopefully that happens. That's it. Like just do September. Like, just
$600.
Just give me.
I'm gonna guess it's $599.
I'm gonna guess September release.
September
for
release?
PS5, just to get. To get 2 or 3 months, because holiday 2020 can also mean like November, like Black Friday-ish.
Sure.
It would be fun, but it's a mistake if Sony lets them come out first too. I think they've done enough. I think Sony was actually, like, after watching this conference, as we start to like wrap it up, but like, Sony, I think, was smart to stay away, because if you watch this conference again, solid conference. Tons of games. They counted them. They showed they gave a number, and I wrote it down. 60 games. They showed 60 games at this conference. A lot of stuff that I'm interested in. Not a lot of gameplay. If Sony would have been there, they would have been doing something very similar. Like, yeah. They already showed off Death Stranding. They probably didn't have anything new to show us on Last of Us. They probably didn't have anything new to show us on Ghost of Tsushima. Who knows what else is left before PS5. Like, I think that they saved a ton of money by not being there.
No, I agree. I think we're going to be a PSX and or a PlayStation Direct of some type. PlayStation's going to have to answer to Microsoft now. The gauntlet has been thrown down. The challenge will be accepted. I can't wait.
So overall, with the Microsoft conference, I gave it a B plus.
Yeah. Yep. I gave it a B. I think there was some really good stuff in there. We got the announcement for the new Xbox. We know the next generation's coming. We knew it was coming. We just didn't know the date. Now we know. I'm excited.
So we went through all the conferences again at facebook.com/TheLanCave. I have all the conferences in written form. A lot of people I know that you can go to their websites and you can get inundated with ads and everything. If you just go to our Facebook page and go to check out that note, you can just easily get each YouTube link to any trailer that you want to see. Mm-hmm. So check that out. But what I wanted to wrap this up with is, I don't know how many you wrote down or if you wrote down any, but give me like you don't have to. You need to do moments, or you can do games. Sure. Give me like your top 3 games or moments.
Yeah, top 3 would be Xbox announcing that their next generation's coming.
Okay.
Final Fantasy VIII.
Okay.
Completely shocked, and then Zelda, just blew my mind.
I like it.
Yeah.
Zelda's gonna be. I mean, it's a 1A, 1B situation because the 1A, 1B is with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Mm-hmm. The fact that it completely put all my fears to bed. I'm now afraid of nothing with that game. Voice dialogue aside, I don't care. Like, it looked too good. It looked like it's going to be too fun to play for me to hate on anything that Final Fantasy VII dialogue has to give me. But then the Zelda announcement completely was by surprise. It makes me happy that they're going back. They're going to do a sequel. They're going to use that world. They're not just going to throw it all away and start from scratch. And that means we might get it sooner. I'm thinking maybe 2021-ish. Maybe take next year off. Who knows? Maybe we could even see it late next year. That would be sweet. And then it's moments. So moments is just. We got the Keanu moment, and then we got the lady whose name I still feel bad. But the fact, like, as far as from a stage presence thing, the fact that we got these, like, genuine, like, crowd-pleasing, awesome moments on stage with people who, she didn't seem nervous at all, but she just seemed like...
She was nervous about her language. The language barrier is the only thing she was nervous about.
Yeah, and then Keanu not knowing anything and totally just being, like... Wow, like, hey, these guys are pretty cool. These gamers, look at them. Those 2 moments there were great, but man, Zelda and Final Fantasy VII, I'm still thinking about them. Overall, those 2, Square and Nintendo, really saved the E3 for me, because the rest of it, I was just I know 2020 is now going to be big. Like, we're going to get a lot of games, but I just want to see them play a little bit. I just want to control around.
I'm so happy though. 2020 is going to be a good year because the next generation's coming, and we're not going to get a lull in regards to in 2020 and 2021. We're not going to get a lull on our consoles, on our current generation. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, I'm all in on next generation. Like, I'm ready. I'll buy them both. I'll be honest. I'm just gonna buy them both.
You know it.
Yep.
But again, check out. I put a good amount of time into putting all those trailers together for you. Okay. Also, hopefully, if you made it through this podcast talking about it, you want to go check out some of those trailers, so they're easily available on the Facebook page. Hopefully you like that too. I do it just for fun. I've done it for years, but I now put a little bit more work into making it organized and made it hopefully somewhat easy for Patrick to pull all the trailers off of. But E3, baby,
helped me so much, and there's a lot of people who don't have time to watch every single conference, and if you want to see just those highlights, or you want to just skim through and see what happened, those notes are the perfect way to do it. So check it out. Yeah. Anyways, we'll see you guys next time, where hopefully there's some more news to talk about after this big wave of news. We'll see you next time.
I may not be here, so maybe Patrick and maybe somebody else, or maybe just. So hopefully you guys miss me.
We shall see. There may be good things happening, but tune in next week where at least I'll be here talking about video games and nerdy stuff, and yeah, we'll keep it going. Talk soon.